Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream. Today it's the 26th of November 2019, coming in from the United States of America. And it's been a flipping long time in the waiting, but we've finally managed to get ourselves into the United States. And yes, we're going to start it all off with doing a two-sector day. We're in Phoenix, Arizona. We're at Sky Harbor International. We're going to be doing a kind of 50-minute flight westbound to San Diego, and then we're going to do the return sector back to Phoenix. But we're actually going to go to a different airport. We're going to be going to Phoenix Goodyear. Now, most of you might be saying, well, where in the world is that? Well, Phoenix Goodyear is where I actually did my commercial pilot's license, so I thought it'd be quite fun to try and land the 737 there. We should easily be able to get a 737 there, because that's where they scrap a lot of aircraft. Thanks to a lot of the members in here as well, MSGN, Tim Fraser. Yes, I did notice the spammer right at the start, and as there's no ATC, just straight off the network. Simple as that, boys. But I need to talk to someone to try to get that sorted, but that seemed to be unable to fix those sort of issues, but that's a great shame. But I will not let that be an issue today. I might try and log on a bit later, but if you're going to get spammers like that, there's no point really cracking on with that. I've got a donation coming in straight away from 2 Tons of Love. Has donated £1. Thank you very much. Greetings from Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome stateside in your old training grounds. Well, thank you, thank you very much, 2 Tons of Love, for the donation there. Indeed, it's great fun. And I must apologise because a lot of people actually messaged me today and in Discord saying, why didn't you try Pilot Edge? Now, that is something what I really like to do, but I just haven't had the time in between me setting up this stream to actually download it, try it, and have a go, because it would have been quite hilarious with my European radio telephony trying to do everything in America. But I promise you, we will do a Pilot Edge stream, perhaps in the same sector or something along the west coast, which I know that's where they're going to be covering that area as well. So yeah, here we are. We're on stand Alpha 12. And the scenery you can see here is from Mr. X6. It's a freeware scenery, and by God, it's very good. It's of a real payware quality. And we're going to San Diego, which is also done by Mr. X6, and it's just beyond, to get this for free is just unbelievable. The link, if you type in, Mr. X6 Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, you'll find it there. You've got the cities there. Also downloaded Ortho 4XP for the entire sector, so we've got the lovely terrain to enjoy on the way there. So yeah, unfortunately not on that sim, as I did see an A380 trying to sit on top of our aircraft here. I mean, you can see everything, all the little vehicles. There's a man here. What does it say on his clipboard? Bob, stop looking at your notepad all day and do some actual work, says Steve. All right, that's a bit of banter from Mr. X6, no doubt. But yeah, really, really nice. And of course, we're going to do, obviously, everything as real as possible, following real-world operating procedures. So yes, let's jump into the aircraft nonetheless and get it all started. Right, pop the battery on. GPU is on the bus. Electric hydraulic pumps are on. Landing gear levers down. We've got the 6 green lights there as well. Down here onto the panel, let's do the fire warning test. Got the extinguisher bottles and the fault test. We've got all the applicable master caution lights. Well, it would be worthwhile resetting it to make sure I've got overheat detection there. We do have it. Let's do the fire test as well. We've got wheel well fire warning lights illuminated and the usual stuff going on there. Emergency exit lights we can put on. Fasten seatbelt sign is on. I've already put the fuel on for this sector prior to the stream. Test the attend button. Now we can do the cargo fire test, and that is here. There we are. It's been almost 2 weeks since I last flew an aircraft. I'm on a kind of extended amount of time off at the moment as part of the new contract I had for my base transfer. So I've got to keep practicing with these live streams so I make sure I don't forget anything, which is pretty cool as the winter comes. Let's turn the panel brightness off. We are live time, so currently 20:39 Zulu. I think we're 8 hours behind in Arizona. So I think the local time's either half 12 or half 1. Not too sure. But yeah, coming up to the afternoon here in Arizona. Manual gear extension is locked and closed. Circuit breakers we would check. Spare bolts, check emergency escape rope up onto the upper overhead panel here. Stall warning test. Yes, we need to wait for the delay. Mac airspeed warning test is good. Flight test record is checked as well. IRS to nav. And that's going to be taking us 7 minutes. And emergency escape rope for the captain, circuit breakers this side here, and then we'll start the boarding as well. So we'll go here to start flight leg 2. The ZIBO mod version we're running today is a pre-release version. It's 338.9C, We've had some very subtle changes to the way VNav behaves and level change. You can see, obviously, we put exclamation mark aircraft on the updates there. And as soon as we touch down in Phoenix Goodyear, ZIBO will release this version to the public, so long as there's not any major problems. Leo Bruce coming in with £2. Thank you very much. Love the streams, Captain. Have a coffee on me. Yes, it's obviously going to be quite a late one here in the United Kingdom. We'll probably be finishing around, I'd say, 11 midnight. So I'm used to working at these sort of times anyway, but the coffee fund, no doubt, Leo would be grateful. Thank you very much for the donation there. Blind Eye 1995. Hi, Captain. How high are the tolerances to stall in the red speed band? Greetings from Frankfurt. Well, the red tape you're talking about here is the point at which stick shaker activates. Now, if you get the stick shaker, it doesn't mean you're actually stalling. It's an impending stall. I mean, obviously, if you're well within the red-black tape, you could potentially be stalling there. But yeah, it's hard to judge how many knots below you can go. Obviously, don't go anywhere near it, is my word of advice for you there. Right, so aircraft status would be now to check over documentation, make sure the tech log's valid, the aircraft is clear to be released, and we then do a lights test. There we are, up on the overhead panel here, starting there. You just do this sort of panel scan, as I've explained many times before, on the MCP, and then check the autopilot status lights as well. What is going on here? Unbelievable. He's moonwalking forward and straight into the tug. Fantastic. I love these little quirky things. Alright, that's done. Right. We're in America.
50,
No longer going to be
40,
setting these inches of
30,
mercury. No, hexapascals. We need some inches of mercuries in here today, boys. Oh, a couple of donations coming in. Anthony Teal, a very long-term faithful member of mine who loves the alpaca themed banter here.
50,
Oh, crikey, Anthony,
40,
thank you very much. Welcome back to
30,
Arizona, boss. I would
20,
be
10.
remiss if I didn't throw a bone for finally doing a US stream. Thank you the better half of the time. Well, no problem, Anthony. I'll pass the message on. She's actually gone to bed because she's got a very early start tomorrow. So we're both happy to do the stream at this time. But thank you very much, Anthony. That's extremely generous there. And you have been pestering me for a while for a US stream. So here we go. Icefire coming with a $5 donation as well. Thank you very much. Bump on San Diego runway 27 at aiming markers. Don't land short or you'll bounce. Yeah, I've been looking at that approach. I've had one practice of that approach because obviously it has quite a significant displaced threshold due to some buildings there. But yes, we'll try not to float down the runway there, Icefire. But thank you very much for the donation there. Blind Eye 1995 coming in as well with 12 euros. My goodness, guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks, Captain. I fly on Saturday to Fuerteventura on a 737-800. Good time to learn if the question comes that no passenger wants to hear. Well, don't you be asking the flight crew what the black and red speed tape means. They'll be questioning you with a raised eyebrow if you're asking those sort of questions. But thank you very much for the donation there. Most kind. Right, we need to set these inches of mercury now. I haven't set inches of mercury since my CPL days when I was doing that back in 2010. And we have, according to my meta here, 299.2 inches of mercury. So it's 1013. So it's there's just standard pressure today, which is good. It's a very nice day here in Arizona. Obviously very settled weather in this part of the world, which is going to make our flight nice and smooth. Elevation here, according to the chart, which we'll look in a little bit more detail, is where is it? 1135. So yeah, that makes sense on the altimeter. So let's just set an MFRA of 2120 for now. There we go. I love how the ZIBO mod lets you spin this up very quickly. It's very, very helpful feature. There we are. That'll do for us. So yeah, in the event of an engine failure, we'll climb to this height and then accelerate the aircraft. So that's good. Airport selected, and we can now go into the FMC and load up the routing. There we are. So I've already got the charts up, which we'll go into a little bit more detail shortly.
50, 40,
there we are,
30,
operational flight plan.
20,
Perfect. Another donation from Callum Wright, £5. Thank you very much, Callum. I have recently got into flight simming, and in particular X-Plane 11, with the influence from a friend. I have found your videos helpful, so thank you. Well, Callum, thank you very much, and I'm glad your friend got you into flight simming, because it is an incredibly rewarding way to kind of follow flights in the comfort of your own home. They're so good now. I mean, as I've said so many times before, the ability to follow, I just follow my operator's SOPs to the letter, and I can do it 99% effectively. So it's really, really great that you can do this from your home, and I'm glad that my tutorials can help you on our live stream. So thank you very much for the donation there. Right, so in the 737 we've got the active air rack of 1912 FMC version 130. Generally don't check too much of this stuff because it's updated by the company, but it's important to make sure you've got the active nav database. We are in Phoenix Sky Harbor. That is Kilo Papa Hotel X-ray. And our coordinates GPS left, and we're going to be going from there to San Diego. Kilo Sierra Alpha November. Has anyone seen the film Anchorman? You could probably be able to translate San Diego into German, but you'll probably get kicked out by Nightbot. That is one of my all-time favourite films, so I expect lots of Anchorman quotes today, so we're going to San Diego. Absolutely classic. Right, Phoenix, we're going to be departing from what I've been told is the preferred runway for the westerly runways at this time of day is 25 right. I might be completely wrong there. Now, what I love about America is the name of these SIDs. We've got a Baldy, a Broke, a Chili. I think the one we're going for is this going to be pronounced Firebird, or it's probably something completely differently. I like calling it Firebird, and I think we're going to be doing a Mohawk transition. I've got them here. Yes, we're going to be going via Mohawk or Mohack. There we are. And our routing does start from Mohack there. So we're going to go Mohack at Juliet 2. And then we're going to go to Hogs. Oh, we so need to do a stream on Pilot Edge because it just would be hilarious, I think. We'll definitely do it soon, guys, I promise. So from Hogs, we're going to be doing the Lucky 1 arrival into San Diego, and it'll be Localizer 27, Lucky 1, and via Hogs and a Lindy. I'll select all those. It seems to join up everything quite nicely. Derek Raven, yes, Firebird goes with Phoenix. Oh, got you, of course. Ah, love it, love it, love it. Right, activate, execute. My operator, we'd only execute it after we've confirmed the routing with the other pilot there. Another donation coming in. This is from 0002 is one of my members. Thank you very much. That's most kind. £3. A well-deserved coffee or tea after having to endure all that alpaca banter. Godspeed to you, Captain. Well, thank you very much for the donation there. And oh crikey, yeah, the alpaca banter has been going strong. Well, actually, I completely forgot to go in the alpaca themed livery today. I just selected this one by default, but I should have gone in that, so I must apologise to the members there. Right, anyway, let's get on with the rest of the routing. Zero fuel weight, 59.7 tons. So this operational flight plan, I've based it off 172 passengers, and we've loaded the aircraft accordingly. The fuel on board 6 tons, so if you have a look at the flight plan here, well, I actually uploaded a little bit there just to allow for VATSIM and any issues there, so we've got 6 tons, a little bit extra. Tim Fraser, another long-term member who always donates an extortionate amount of money, he's done it again, £20, and I guess this is a bet, another bet. Alright, I will have to transfer the money back to you like I did last time, Tim. Anything over 90 feet per minute, the bet is on. I'm in a glass case of emotion with Santa Claus emojis. I've got to. Is it going to be impossible to do in less than 90 feet per minute in San Diego? Alright, I'll try my best for you, Tim, otherwise I'll give you a 20 quid back. Anyway, thank you very much there for the donation. So 6 tons of fuel on board, 18.3 tons is based off 172 passengers, which would be a typical load for a low-cost carrier. Reserves then, we have selected Los Angeles, or KLAX, I think is the alternate. There we are, so that is going to be 2.3, 2.4 tons, which we'll punch in here. Cost index we'll use is 30. The trip's quite low, but I think we could get up to our cruise level today of 320. I just left it on optimum on SimBrief to calculate that. We'll execute that for now. Our top of climb wind at 320 is going to be 287 at 73. So quite a strong headwind on the first sector today, right on the nose. Top of climb ISO deviation +1. Definitely in America. Transition altitude to 18,000 feet here everywhere. Temperature is 16 degrees, or what's that in American I don't know how many Fahrenheit that is, but I think we could still put 16 degrees in here. Hold on, I've got an American themed METAR here. Oh, it still says 16. Oh, I can't. I literally cannot remember. I get everything's quoted in Celsius, perhaps because of ICAO. Anyway, performance. I think full 22k should be sufficient. I don't have an accurate performance calculator, but plenty of runway available here. And flap 5, CG 4.82, speed to set 146 for V2, which we'll set here on the bug. Right, so that's all loaded in, and just going to put, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place there, legs for the first officer. We can now go up to the upper overhead panel. Yaw dampers on, fuel pumps coming on, and fasten seatbelt sign is on because we've already fueled the aircraft up. Panel lighting on, window heat is coming on. And trim air is on, Pax auto, isolation valve auto, bleeds on, cruising up at 320. What is the elevation, San Diego? It's got to be close to sea level, hasn't it? I've got the chart. I printed off some charts actually prior to the stream because I'm super organised. 17 feet, so we could leave that set to 0. Steady for the lighting there. Did I get a donation in? I don't think it's rang yet, but I did see another donation from Sleepy Lab, who donated $50 last stream, which is complete. Have I got another bet on? No, Sleepy Lab says you're covered against the bet.
40,
I'm saying 85
30,
people or less.
20,
I'll see you in
10.
Phoenix tomorrow. Oh, Sleepy Lab, Jeeves, that's. Honestly, I swear to both of you, if I don't manage, if I go more than that, I'll both transfer you the money back. So I'd want to. For members, you shouldn't be doing this sort of thing, really. I swear to you. Right, I'll have a word with you later. So yeah, that's all set on the up overhead panel. Right, the SID we're doing, this whatever it was, Firebird 1, I love it. Airport charts, here we are. So Firebird 1, it's an RNAV departure. We need to have RNAV 1, which we're fitted with. It says for us, what I love about American SIDs, or what I can see, because it's the same with the SID in San Diego as well, all of them cover every single runway. In Europe, pretty much every SID is specific to a runway, so you have to change it here. It doesn't matter, you can be cleared on this SID and just take off any runway and just maintain a heading, which is fantastic. But we're going to be doing runway 25 right, so it says climb on heading 258. We'll set the runway QDM first. Initially, actually, do I have the runway QDM? I have it right in front of me. 258. So I'm just going to set that here, and that just means that the courses are going to be pointing and heading bug. That's very important for the runway. Track is going to be lined up quite nicely. That is all set. Flight directors are on as well. But for the SIDs, we're going to be going climb on heading 258, and then we'll intercept the course 240 to JUTAC, and then we're going to be going on track 151 to Wetal. That looks like it's in the FMC, on the flight plan correctly, on the chart correctly depicted, and then from Wetal, track 221 to Firebird. So if we have here a look on the legs, JUTAC, Wetal, Firebird, we'd step through that, confirm the tracks and distances, but it looks pictorially correct in the FMC, so that's looking pretty good there. Excellent, so that's the SID, loaded in the FMC. It's an RNAV SID, so there's not really any frequencies we can tune. Let's tune up Phoenix at 15.6, just gives us something to follow anyway. 15.6. I mean, would I do this in reality? Probably not, but at least it gives you something to tune and the needles to point towards. A couple of donations, a donation coming in and a membership there. I'll start with a donation first from Florida NV8. N8, thank you very much. If you don't use your best American accent for an ATC call at least once during the stream, please send back this donation. Well, very fitting donation, $7.37. And if we get ourselves back onto FatSim, I'll try and remind me to do some sort of American accent just for a bit of banter. It'll be awful. My American accent sounds Australian. Secondly, I want to say thank you very much to Raymond Kleiss for becoming a member for the channel as well. Welcome as a member. You'll be automatically invited to the members only Discord, where you'll have some exclusive content from myself and the channel. So thank you very much for the donation and the membership, guys. That's very much appreciated. Right, so the SID's in. Taxi routing then. We're on stand Alpha 12. We're going to push back here to face north, and our departure here is runway 25 right. Now there is, depending on the configuration of the airport, I haven't got the chart to my hand here, there is a preferred direction. I think what we're going to do, I might try go back on VATSIM just before we push back. As soon as he comes back, I'm going to log off, and I know some people said, oh, yeah, but he wins if he logs off. Not really. If I log off, he's got nothing better to do than just to sit in front of his computer sulking. So, yeah, it's just the fact of the matter there. So we'll push back to face north. I'll make a right turn on Charlie, go via Romeo. There's our moonwalking character again. And then we'll taxi down here to Echo 13 to depart off runway 25 right. So that's all pretty much set. Let's get the APU started, and we'll get the better pushback organised whilst that's coming in here. Oh, I forgot to set the stop altitude for the SID as well, which we would have obviously briefed with the first officer if I had such a person here. I think it says somewhere 8,000. I had a little look prior to the stream. Yeah, I think top altitude. I think that's your stop altitude. So I'm going to set 8,000 feet here. So that is all looking good. So we've done that, order brake to RTO, reset the fuel flow, and I think down here we're all looking good. So we do all our briefings now. You talk to the first officer, do your route check, instrument cross check, takeoff briefings, emergency briefings, taxi routing and SID briefing, which we've already kind of discussed briefly. Going through all that information is very important prior to departure. Another donation coming in from Milkshaker de Vorheit, who's donated £5. Fantastic YouTube username there. You've just passed your PPL check ride, so is there anything better to do than watching a flight deck to sim stream? Lol. It says Milkshaker de Vorheit. Thank you very much for the donation. I feel like that we should be saying congratulations to you, so everyone in chat would say thanks to you for passing your PPL. It doesn't matter what stage of your flight training you're at, it doesn't matter what you pass, it's always a very rewarding experience. I remember passing my PPL ground school exams. That was pretty exciting enough, so fantastic. Thank you very much, donation, and well done on passing your PPL skills test there. Right, so Avitab and ground services, better pushback pre-plan. There's one I prepared earlier, and then we can press enter.
Round to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
You can tell we're in America. Fantastic. Right, better pushback, request pushback. Fantastic.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Very, very good. So yeah, I understand obviously during the setup you might have had lots of questions coming in. Don't feel like you have to donate to get a question. I try, in the cruise certainly, I have a much more capacity to look at some of the requested questions. Albeit quite a short flight today, but we should get around 20 minutes or so to catch up and ask any questions, and I'll try and spot them as they come. Right. Just checking the VATSIM map here. I don't think there's any ATC on. No, there's no ATC at all. And unfortunately, no one at Phoenix except one aircraft. But I will join the network anyway, nonetheless.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Cool. So I'll have a look around whilst he's getting the pushback all connected. There's the guy on his clipboard, but yeah, let's just have a little look up here, because this ortho is pretty good. I know there's more detailed ortho 4XP someone was telling me about. This is just the standard Bing map ortho. But yeah, I haven't flown this entire sector. All I've managed to do is no, it doesn't take long, does it? Has this guy got nothing better to do? I mean, seriously, he must be just sat in his room with an absolute Roger on, just waiting for me just to spawn on VATSIM. Oh, crikey. What else?
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking
right,
brake.
anyway, let's get the ball rolling here. Air conditioning packs are off. Isolation valve is open. Anti-collision light is on. Parking brake is set. He's told me to remove that. Transponder's out off. There we are. We will imagine we've been cleared to push start to face north.
Starting pushback.
Excellent.
And you may start engines.
Right, there we are. Pushback is on its way. Right on schedule. 2100 Zulu. Look at that for a flight deck to sim on time performance. I'll just show you the flight plan. I'll say thanks to whoever donated there as well. Give me 2 seconds. Because we don't often leave on time because we have so many delays. But have a look at this filed flight plan. You can see here, look, 2100 off blocks, And it's 20:59, 1 minute ahead of schedule. Brilliant. Another Flight Sim at X-Plane 11's just donated 59 Swedish krona. Thank you very much. I have my own channel where I only fly the 737. Would love if you wanted to check it out and teach me new things. I love the 737 as a beauty it is. Well, thank you very much for the donation there. That's most kind. Yeah, give me a ping on Facebook and for your donation. Yeah, that's most kind. But drop me a message and I'll try and look at some videos there. I'll try and make a note of your. Well, I've just make a note and I'll have a look at some of your videos later as well. But yeah, thank you very much for the donation there. I think I've got another one that came in too, which I just missed. From Steph Plentic. Thank you very much. Donated £4.28. When you are broke for a membership, when you are too broke for a membership but still want to donate. Oh my goodness. Well, you can still become a member 30 days for that. But oh, hold on. I need to make sure I'm concentrating here. What have I forgotten? AP bleed on. Oh dear. Right, ground on. That's most kind for the donation there. And yes, if you save your pennies, become a member. A lot of people ask if I have a normal Discord, but I just have such limited time.
Parking brake.
The way I can provide a little bit of feedback to people on a personal level is by having the members-only Discord, because I give up quite a bit of free time for that. But yeah, thank you very much for the donation anyway, and I hope to see you in Discord very soon. Alan Hughes, hi again. Is there a problem with the stream, or is it me as it keeps freezing, or it's very slow? Everything seems to be fine my side, so I don't know if there's anyone else is having issues, but it should be okay. I've upped the bitrate slightly, but it should be good. Right, start a car, monitor engine number 2. 2 is stable, and we'll start engine number 1. Jason Madden, what are your head shake settings, please? Get ready to take a screenshot. There you are. There's my head shake settings.
Tow is
I think works pretty well for me.
And has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see
So anti-rotation, N1.
Check.
We try and check the spar valve. You have to be super quick in a desktop simulator to be able to do that there. Nope, all is clear. 1080p, no butter. No butter? I'm getting so used to saying no butter. No buffer. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And thanks to Zombie GD 144 Hertz for becoming a member as well. Welcome to the channel as a member and for your dedicated support, my friend. That's very, very kind. Thank you. So there's the bypass pin. We are safe to commence the before taxi flow and checklist. All looking good. Right, so generators on, APUs off, start switches are continuous, probe heat is on, anti-ice is off, air conditioning packs auto, isolation valve auto, APU bleed is off. That is all set here. Flap 5 for takeoff. Here comes the flight control check. So full forwards, full back, full left centre, full right centre, and the rudders, again, we'd hold the tiller so the nose wheel doesn't move in reality, but there you go, full left, full right, and I need to be my rudder pedals as well. Like the lower DU, and recall, there we are, and we then complete the before taxi checklist. Again, if you're new to my streams and you want to know the flow I've just done, which we know by heart, you can actually, when you start, practice that flow, and then make sure that you follow this checklist here to make sure the aircraft is correctly configured for takeoff. That's really, really important. Very good, so let's get going. Taxi and turn off light on. Obviously we're offline at the moment, so we'll taxi ourselves to the whole point. And we'll try logging on again once we get airborne. So there's the config check. No takeoff configuration warning horn. And about 35% N1 to get ourselves moving. Daniel Moyer says, Flight Data Sim, hello. Hello to you. It's really, really cool because our departure takes us off towards where I did most of my CPL and all my hour building over here, right over Goodyear. I can remember the flexibility in America for when you're flying around single engine piston is great. I remember just calling up Phoenix, Radar, whoever the good was, and I just requested to fly directly over the airport at 2,000 feet to get back to Goodyear, and they were like, yeah, no problem. Cleared straight at 1,500 feet, right over the top of the airport at rush hour. No problem at all. I mean, if you went to Heathrow in the UK and requested that, I'd be just gobsmacked. You'd probably get shot down. It's incredible how much how much more freedom there is in the US for general aviation. Right, so I'm just going to look at the latest weather as well from the Meta. For Phoenix Sky Harbour, it's showing variable 4 knots, 10 statute miles, few clouds at 25,000 feet, 16 degrees. There's some remarks and codes and letters and numbers which I don't understand or I've completely forgotten what they mean as well, but there's something there. Cool. a little taxi flyby. That's the word I was looking for. Looking good in the US. Fantastic. So taxi routing then, we're going to go along this taxiway and then make a right turn south. Just to show you here, that's the, don't need that one anymore. I think we're still on the taxiway here. Yes we are. No, that's not the one I was looking for either. Oh, I can't remember where it was. Hold on. Oh, now I can't move my number pad. I'll have a look in a second anyway. Another donation coming from another Flight Sim Expert 11. I sent you a message on Facebook and linked a video. I hope you like it. We would love to hear from you. Yeah, I'll promise you I'll have a look at that after the stream, if not tomorrow morning. Facebook messages I generally have a look at. I get so many now, but I'll certainly look out for yours there. Thank you very much, and I'll comment on a couple of your videos for you. That's most kind. Right, so we'll take a right turn here. I was trying to find the taxi charts. Actually, I think if I go like this, there we go, I can actually taxi while selecting charts at the same time. I'm not 100% sure where we're going. Airport info. There we are. Yes, we are going the right way. We're on the Romeo taxiway. We're going to go under a bridge, which is pretty cool. I can only imagine that this is here in reality, and then we're just going to go to Hold Point Echo 13. I'm not sure that's there in reality. That's going to be a wingtip clearance issue. Got a little tram. Look at that for timing, right over the top of us. Well, I'm actually going to make a slight left turn here because I don't want my right wingtip to hit this road. I'm not sure whether that's there in reality or not. There we go. No problem at all, eh? Jeez. Jerry says the bridge is for the SkyTrain. Fantastic. That's really, really cool. Right, we can do the before takeoff checklist now. So config we've checked, flaps we have 5 required, and 5 is selected with the green light. And takeoff briefing, packs are in auto, bleeds are on, the V-speeds are set for departure, 39, 40, 46. We're going to be flying the Firebird 1 departure, the Firebird 1 SID, if I remember right. It's going to take us straight ahead, it's around 1600 feet, left turn, about to Jutak, then another left turn into Wettow, and then Firebird, and then we keep going towards a point called Judith, I think it was. Climbing to 8,000, we'll probably step climb higher as we get to 8,000 feet. That is reviewed. Stab trim, I forgot to say, is set for departure too. Cabin, we'll imagine, is secure, so we'll just push the attend button. Cabin secure, there we are, before takeoff checklist is complete, and there we are at Echo 13, ready for departure, runway 25 right. So obviously contact tower now, say broadsword 0 on Echo 13, 25 right, ready for departure. Yeah, and we'll imagine broadsword 0 on clear takeoff. Surface wind variable 3 knots. And there we are. So lights can come up on here. Start switches, sorry. Strobes to strobe and steady. Auto throttle, LNAV. Transponder to TARA. And weather radar on, and then we'd read this checklist here. So MCP is set, transponder is set to TARA, yes, strobe lights are on, landing lights on, we've got our takeoff clearance checks are complete.
2-5
Matrix,
right.
100 likes, that's brilliant, but I've got 498 people watching the video. If you are enjoying the content, especially my members as well, I do appreciate the thumbs up on the video. Get out to as many people as possible, and that is really appreciated. Thank you very much. Well, we're doing sort of a lineup as if we wanted to use every single inch of the runway. You wouldn't really need to do that here if you'd taken off from the intersection or used your performance figures there, but we might as well use it. Right, so we're looking for the QDM of 258.
Right.
There we are, all ready to go. Let's stand those thrust levers up to 40%. The engines have all stabilised. Push toga, set, takeoff, thrust, 92.4% N1. There we are, takeoff thrust set, indications normal, light forward pressure on the control column until 80 knots.
80 knots.
That's checked, release the forward pressure. Just use rudder to maintain centre line. V1, hand off the thrust lever, rotate 2 to 2.5 degrees per second, pull through the dead band and then up to 15 degrees and neutralise the rudder. gear up and onto the flight directors. It's already commanding a left turn, a little bit early, but that's fine. That should be around right there.
400.
Verify the roll mode, which is LNAV, and cue the nice flyby. Mega.
1,000.
That's 1,000 feet, so we can bug up now. Slowly lower the nose onto the flight directors, and that is a lot better behaviour now with the flight directors. There's V2 plus 15, we can select flap 1. And flaps up. If you've been away from the ZIBO mod for a while, you now have very accurate 1.3 G manoeuvre margin stick shaker speeds. Now, just to demonstrate, I'm just going to add a bit of G force here. Look at that. See how the stick shaker speed moves? That is incredible how that's been modelled. I'm just going to do that again. Look, so if you see how I pitch up a little steep, look at the stall speed increase due to the G loading. That is quite a calculation. One of the guys on the Discord, ZIBO's Discord, he's a captain for an Australian airline who worked out the formula or something, or gave him the formula to calculate that accurately. So that's really, really cool to have that there. Oh no, I did forget to set the chrono, no problem. Let's make sure we just add a couple of minutes to whatever the time is here. Right, there we go. So flaps up, no lights. We can engage the autopilot now. Command A. We shouldn't be doing 166 knots. That is a bug. That should be saying whatever our bug speed was, so 210. If we select VNAV, that's not going to be an issue. That's going to pitch down now, but that should be saying whatever the bug speed is. So that's VNAV. We can set standard. Passing 5, descending, passing 5. Oh no, hold on. Now this is classic. Look, we're in America, guys. I should not be setting standard. That's really bad habit, actually. So because we're climbing to an altitude, don't set standard. Leave that QNH set. Or inches of mercury set until you've been cleared to an altitude. Lots of noob errors here today, eh? Right, well imagine we've been cleared up to our flight level nonetheless anyway, which is going to be flight level 320. And that is all looking good. Now we can actually select set standard. And passing 6-2 flight level 320 after takeoff checklist. So gear to up and off, water brake to off, start switches to off. And now we can do the after takeoff checklist. So air conditioning and pressurization, 2.5 psi, climbing auto, bleeds, they're all on auto. That is all set. Start switches are up or off, landing gears up and off, water brake is off, flaps up nights, altimeters, verify standard set, passing 7.5, flight level 320 after takeoff checklist is complete. Excellent! Jackson Brown, hey man, in the US you don't set standard till flight level 180, so you have to wait for the transition level, do you? Well, see, at my operator in Europe, as soon as we have been cleared to a flight level, regardless of the position of the transition altitude, we have to set standard. So it's quite interesting. It could be very different in the US where that's mandatory. I have to talk to some friends who operate in the US. I sure do believe you. But my operator's SOPs, as soon as you've been cleared to a flight level, regardless if you're below the transition level or altitude, you immediately set standard as we're cleared to a flight level. The threat is if agency did say, for example, stop altitude 12,000 feet, you've got to remember to set the inches of mercury at QNH here. Mandatory, says John Z. Alright then, well, I'll tell you what, as we are in America, let's follow the mandatory rules. We'll set 299, which is exactly the same anyway. And we'll go from there. Look at that. Actually, this is... I think I did most of my fly right here. Is Goodyear just to the right? I'm just getting a little bit... yeah, I've flown so many times. I'm just going external here. Goodyear's just there. So many times I've flown down this valley here. This is just... a Gila Bend, was it, or something? Or Gila Bend's over here? I can't remember. So many times I've flown down this valley here back to Goodyear. It's fantastic to see this again. Amazing. Right, we could do the pre-cruise checks passing 10,632,000 feet. And we can do the pre-cruise checks now. So fuel, 4 pumps, lights off, APU's off, pressurization 4.2, and that's all set. We can release the passengers, of course, release the cabin crew as well. Recall, there we are. Pre-cruise checks are all complete. Mega. Oh, the ZIBO's cut the corners slightly. Just going to get rid of the control column to Wettle, but I think... Actually, no, ZIBO, ignore me, because I think that's how the aircraft should fly that with the waypoints that we have generated anyway. So, yes, you can see, look, it's actually designed to do that slightly, so no problem at all. We'll ignore that, because that is actually a flyover waypoint. So, no, the ZIBO mod is behaving precisely as it should. Mega. Love all these external views. The Ortho just brings it up a level, and obviously I'll have to see what Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 do, but I think we're pretty much flying all over the place with this sort of scenery, which is pretty cool. Mega. It's strange, YouTube. Don't you think vertical speed is very sensitive? Yeah, I mean, most of the pitch modes, especially when you're changing pitch modes in the mod, they're have to be so carefully fine-tuned when editing, because it can easily be broken. For example, when ZIBO was modifying the 1.3G maneuver margins, it actually caused slight issues with the flight model. So sometimes, you know, it's at a level now which is as close as he can sort of get it, but it's just making those fine adjustments. But yeah, it's a little bit. So if I select vertical speed now and pitch down, that's a bit aggressive. You'd be feeling a little bit floaty, let's say there. And again, if I increase that there, it's a little bit aggressive, a little bit, but it's not.
50.
Yeah, it should be about half that, but there's not much that I think
10.
ZIBO could perhaps further fine-tune it, but you've got to be so careful it doesn't affect the flight model. Another donation coming in, definitely with the 737 themed donations today. Thank you very much, Jonathan Irons, who's coming in with €7.37. Awesome content, mate. You use your operator's app for takeoff performance calculation. Any ideas what we can use to X-Plane? Well, thank you very much, Jonathan. And yes, I do know something you can use to X-Plane. There's a chap on Discord called OPT Sim, who's actually a member on my channel. He has a freeware onboard performance tool. Now, I haven't actually gotten around to really testing it for a while. I did download it briefly months ago. There we are, we can set standard now. But I'll send you to the, if I don't know, it's called Zanen OPT Sim Developer. Let me see if I can get you a link to that. And I think that's pretty good for the desktop simulator. I'm having a look if I can find the link for you online, but this guy has made a freeware OPT simulator. I'm just on his Discord now, because I don't think anyone can post links, because it automatically deletes them. Where is it? OPT sim. I'm typing it in Google, but it's not coming up with anything. But yeah, it's a guy that's made a freeware OPT sim for the ZIBO mod. It's pretty good. I'll drop me a message on Facebook as well, and I'll get back to you, because I can't find the link here. Or if someone in Discord could send me the link, and then I can post it here, that would be really, really good. And I can share that with the guys. Thank you. And thank you very much for the donation. Oh yeah, Max NGX, can you show us how direct to waypoint looks like now? That's another thing ZIBO's introduced. I mean, we never used this in my operator, but is this direct to as in I select a new direct, or I can't remember what ZIBO said he exactly changed, but there should be a slight curved line there. We don't have the direct to button on here. I should have asked ZIBO, because he said this has been. He said, "Could you test it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." But I wasn't 100% sure what it was. I don't know if he just meant direct to an active waypoint in the FMC, but there was something or other there.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Cool. Right, I've got the link anyway. I was just mentioning there. Thank you very much, Norbert1699 in Discord. I've got the Discord link for the freeware OPT simulator you can use, which I'll post to you here, and that should be able to get you into the chat making a freeware OPT. Another donation coming in. That was from Jan Willie Hansen, back again. £5.94 donation. Thank you very much, Jan Willie Hansen, for another donation. Missing the comment as usual for me. I feel like I should be doing something in return for the donation. Thank you very much, Jan Willie Hansen, nonetheless. I love that name. Oh, amazing. Right, so there we are over Firebird. Not sure what this airport is. Kilo Golf X-Ray Foxtrot. As I said, I did most of my training around here, but there it is. Look at the ortho, mega. Still, this is so annoying. The only thing that does annoy me about X-Planes is, look, if I pan the camera, you get these flickering shadows from clouds. It always causes issues. Bit of a pain. Lovely day here, in Phoenix as well. Hello there, Flight Deck to Sim Airlines has expanded its destinations. Yes, we have a Phoenix to San Diego route now. We picked up this aircraft from the Mojave Desert. We've expanded our horizons to tap into the US market. Keolind, what would happen if you were to try to extend the flaps during cruise? Well, first bit of advice, don't, because you're going to probably damage them. Are they just going to blow off? Probably not, but they will get damaged. It's actually prohibited. It is a limitation. You cannot select flaps above 20,000 feet in the 737, because obviously as you get higher, your true airspeed increases over your indicated airspeed. So you just do not select flaps over above 20,000 feet. That is a limitation on the NG. You shouldn't be selecting flaps between 10 and 20,000 feet anyway, unless you're seriously high or something's not right. But yeah, that just don't. I wouldn't know exactly what would happen, but you'd certainly damage them, and they'd be unlikely to be able to retract or extend further. And you don't want to have to try and do a flapless landing if you can avoid it. Oh, it's Alpaca Airways. We don't have a virtual airline yet, but if we were to ever have a virtual airline at Flight Deck to Sim, we would call it Alpaca Airways. Daniel Moyer, I am in a stream. Remember you responding with, and I quote, haha, I must apologise. We will stream in Denmark soon. Daniel Moyer, was that over a year ago? Probably. Denmark is very, very... I can't believe we've not been there yet. There's no decent scenery, though, for any Danish airports, unfortunately, because there was a VATSIM event the other day. Where was it going into? I can't remember. Was it Helsinki? Can't remember at all. No, Helsinki's Finland, isn't it? I always get my Danish airports muddled up, but no, I must go to Denmark at some point. Adrian, thanks for the Discord link. His channel just exploded. Well, I appreciate that. They probably thought it was mine. Very good. So here we are, approaching flight level 300. So the bank angle is 10 degrees. And just for our planning, we will be descending at 2140 Zulu. So it's just 20 minutes from now. Dan, are you going to the Gatwick Helsinki event on December the 1st? I haven't looked at any events. Next week I'm actually going on holiday for a few days. We booked a very last minute holiday, my partner and I. I'm not going to go into tons of detail. I'll probably tell the chaps on Discord, but just for 4 or 5 days away. I'm definitely going to do a stream before then, and hopefully one after that. Now, last few times I've been on VATSIM now, this absolute, fiend of an individual, he's really making himself apparent. He's been on here the last couple of streams now. I don't know what VATSIM could do to stop him, and I know he's been affecting other people's live streams as well. Yeah, it's just a pain. If it continues, I'll just have to do what I did before. It's just log off, which is a great shame. But I think with the events, obviously there'll be an ATC presence there to dot wallop them, and I can't remember how to. I don't know how to dot wallop now on the new X Pilot. I need to look into that. But yeah, it's just an absolute shambles if he does do that. Talking about that, let's try anyway. Log back in. If he comes back, we'll just go straight out. I've already filed the flight plan. It shouldn't be an issue, if you come straight back in. Tor Stabelkulo, why is he not banned? I don't know. He has some sort of ability to get through those if he has multiple accounts. I don't know, but he's been it's the same person who was involved previously before. Goose Boy, favourite UK airport to fly from? Well, I've been operated from a lot of UK airports. I quite like flying out of my home base because it's home, and I'm looking forward to doing that after a while. So yeah, great. Anthony Murphy coming in with €10. Thank you very much, Anthony. Hi, Captain. Thanks for all the great content. Have a beer and get the missus a drink on me on the holidays, and don't forget something for Jacko. Thank you very much, Anthony. That's most kind. Yeah, we've gone all inclusive. Never done that before, so it was a really good deal. My partner, her airline she works for, she gets big travel concessions, so we got a really nice holiday short notice, quite cheaply as well. But that will get me something on the aircraft anyway. Anthony Murphy, and I'll be drinking that, thinking of you and your donation. And Jack, of course, will get a biscuit too. So thank you very much, Anthony, most kind. HMS Daring 1 at ground school, did you have to do a flight stability calculation? Things such as calculating stick, free stick, fixed positions on aircraft, dampening ratios, Dutch roll, spiral and fugoids. No, crikey. I mean, oh, there he is. Gee, how does he do that so quickly? Unbelievable. I mean, surely this guy is sat at home matching my flight to the letter, so as soon as I log back on, he just comes straight back. Unbelievable. I mean, has he got nothing better to do, really? Oh my goodness, how quick was he to get here? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Daniel Moyer, K, thanks for responding for information. Billund Airport is in the town Billund, not in Copenhagen. Did I think did I missay something in the latest stream, or I might have got my Danish country, my Scandinavian countries model up, I'm not sure, but sorry if I did there. MSGA is my biggest fan. I don't understand why he hasn't become a member for a bit more inside information. Oh dear. Max, yes, the worst thing is you're actually finding it quite funny and amazing instead of it actually making you mad. Hey, it doesn't... listen, it is funny. I'm a very light-hearted sort of guy. I mean, mad isn't the sort of personality, a trait of an airline pilot you're looking for. You're not going to find many people who get angry or mad. Just got to take it on the chin. Like, it is funny. I just saw an A380 coming straight towards me. I mean, if you don't find that funny, so it's not quite right. And yes, it's flipping annoying, and I can't go on VATSIM, but to be fair, you know, I'm not really... online with any ATC at the moment, so it makes very little difference anyway. Flying Yorkshireman, is there an issue with the Discord? No, it should be running absolutely fine. Looks like it's all running anyway in the background. If you're having issues trying to join it and you've just signed up as a member, what you sometimes have to do is synchronize it on your PC. A lot of people, I get a lot of messages in, people are like, I can't get onto your Discord, what's going on? And it's because they're trying to do it in the app or the desktop app. I found that if you sync it using the web browser, you know, Chrome, whatever you use, you have that invite generate or whatever, and that seems to make it work. There is some guidance on Google if you type in Discord YouTube synchronization. That should talk you through it, if that's the issue you're having anyway. Mega. Right, so we don't have a huge amount to go. A huge amount of time to go. I mean, look at this scenery. It's mega. I did catch it when I was staying in Phoenix. I did catch a flight to San Francisco once. I remember just staring out the window. It's just beautiful landscape. Just very dry, arid desert. It's mega, isn't it? You're so spoiled with desktop simulators these days. Really, 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 really. So good. I mean, you could be sat there in the real aircraft. Yeah, I know you can get virtual reality as well. And it just makes it look so real now. Mega. Right, anyway, before I get too sucked into the immersion, let's get rid of all the Phoenix charts and get up some San Diego charts. KSAN. And let's select star first, which is going to be the lucky one. And then the arrival is going to be... Sorry, the approach is going to be the localised approach runway 27. There's no ILS on 27 due to obstacles. I'm guessing that, but seems the most likely reason. And airport-wise, we'll select the airport info and parking stands. There we all are. Right, so we'd hand over control to the first officer in this case, and then we would start our setup accordingly. So firstly, let's get the flight plans up. Tab charts. There we are. Get those descent forecast winds in. 250 below 10,000 feet. And get the altitudes in as well. Top of descent and descent. So 310. Might as well punch it in because it is just below us. 200 and 100. And 291 at 53. 200 we've got 283 at 53. And 10,000 feet 298 at 31. That's all looking good. Executed. What's the inches of mercury? I might need someone to remind me how to put in inches of mercury into the FMC. Is it you just put the 4 numbers in? Because I remember doing this when we did the flight to Calgary to Toronto, wherever it was. I can't remember now. The inches of mercury you're expecting is 2988. I can remember it's not as simple as putting in 2988, is it? No, I can't remember how you do this. Someone in chat, please tell me how to put inches of mercury into the FMC. You need the dot, says Alex Egg. Okay, let's put, so 29 dot 98. Whatever, no, what was it? 2988, sorry. Like this, yes? Invalid entry. Slash 29929.88. Hey! Thanks, guys. I don't think you need to put the slash in, though. With the QNH... No, if you put the QNH in, you don't need to put the slash. But we got it in anyway. Thanks, Jabs. I really appreciate that. So that's in. Fixed rings for runway 27. Now, I think... I've flown this approach, practiced it once. It was very steep, so I think... Well, I'm going to put a 5-mile ring in, but I might configure a little bit earlier just to control the speed, because it is a 3.5 degree slope. It's quite steep. And we'll put 3 times the height, 32, 64, 96. There we are. And let's have a look at the approach chart, and then we'll brief it all. So we'll need 110.9 for the localizer. That's already on standby. And we've got the Mission Bay VOR, fantastic, for the missed approach here, which is 17.8. That's there. The final approach track is 275. And the minimum 680. That checks 680. What do you Americans? Statute miles, isn't it? So you got 1 3/4 statute miles of visibility required, but not an issue today. And we add 40 feet at my operator to this, so if we do have to go around at minimums, we don't actually get below this MDA. So we're going to set 720 for the minimums on this approach. There we are, 720. Step down there, we'll check all the points shortly. And here's the display threshold. We'll discuss the landing performance as well. Right, so we're just going to do a quick briefing. We'd always discuss the threats in reality. I've never been to this airport, or practiced it once, but it is quite a steep approach. It's no precision approach, usual stuff, terrain and descent. And we then check the descent page, and also check your donations. Thank you very much to pilot student from Ukraine, who's donated £1.55. Hello, Captain. Have a nice stream. Now, very important question: can pilot of 737 or A320 use the reverse thrust before nose gear is put down? Why not if they can't? And secondly, can we pull over the yoke a little bit when pulling the... it's cut off the message. It's such a long message, I can't actually read the end of that. I have no idea what the last bit is there, pilot student from Ukraine. But thanks for the donation. So, can you use reverse thrust before nose gear is put down? Now, on a auto land, we wait... as soon as you got... No, sorry, not on a mortar. I'm thinking autopilot disconnect. Yeah, as soon as the main gear is touched down, you can immediately select reverse thrust. There's no requirement to wait for the nose wheel to be selected. I mean, you don't purposely hold off the nose on the 737, you know, you just gently lower it, so the nose gear should be landing pretty shortly afterwards. But as soon as the main gear is down, you can select reverse thrust. For the A320, can't tell you exactly. I'd be surprised if it would be that different though, but on the 737, yeah, as soon as you've got main gear down, you can select reverses. But yeah, thank you very much for the donation there. Cool, so as I was saying, the approach briefing, descent page, we put the speeds in, the fixed rings in as well. Let's have a look at this lucky arrival. Lucky 1. So it's an RNAV arrival, RNAV 1 required, turbojet aircraft only, Imperial transition ATC assigned only. I'm not sure if that's us. Expected routing, if you lose communications, I think you essentially continue the approach there. So we're going to start at Lucky, there we already are. I've already probably passed Lucky already. Where does this Lucky start? We've got Kabola. Well, we're going direct to Kabola apparently. I'm not sure that's how our flight plan works, but we're going Kabola. Let's just go to step plan here. Kabola, Korma. So Sophie 260240 checks. Now that's a slight graphical issue there. You shouldn't have centre overlapping that. I think that text is a lot smaller. But yeah, you shouldn't have the centre overlapping like that. Surely ZIBO will fix that within 5 minutes. Kumpo 230 to 190. So these are just stepping us down. They're in the FMC as well. 270 knots at Helix. We've got 270 there. We're already planning to be at 250 below that though. We should be doing 290 in the descent. From Helix, 11,000 to 10,000 to Jack, 250 knots. That's there. Aztec, 8,000 or above. Lucky at 6,000, that checks. And then we're going to Lindy Point, 210 knots at 5,000 or above. That's all coded correctly in the FMC at least. And then we go on to the localizer approach from Yida, 4,000, step down to 3,600. And then we're going to be going to O'Kane. Just want to see where we are at 10 miles. So O'Kane is just outside of 10 miles. And we've got 194, so I just want to make sure we're much slower than that. So we're going to put 180 knots up below. We're going to use VNAV for this approach because that's how we fly a localised approach on the NG. We'd use VNAV for the vertical profile and localise a Vorlock as a localiser lateral profile there. Chija, 2,700, down to the final approach fix of 2,000 feet at Rebo. That's in the FMC. 3.5 degree path, so that is coded correctly in the FMC, and the mod should follow that. A little bit steeper than standard. That will be for obstacles most likely on the final approach course there. So 3 degrees is the standard angle there, so you'd probably want to be at flap 10, especially if you've got a tailwind there, just to maintain your speed down to the minimums of 720. And if we have to go around, push toga once, called go around flap 15, set go around for us, positive climb gear up 400 feet. We'll engage heading select. We're going to climb on runway heading 275 degrees, and then we're going to intercept the 255 radial from Mission Bay to hold at Kakadi 255. So that's all coded correctly in the FMC. Mega. So that's the briefing covered. Approaching our top of descent shortly. So lastly, we just need to look at the landing performance. Again, I don't have an accurate landing performance calculator, but you'll notice here that the length of the runway is 2,865 metres. Now, that's the length from the threshold to threshold. That's not actually the landing distance available. We've got a huge display threshold here. That's because of obstacles here just on the extended centre line on the approach. If you actually look on the... where's the landing distance? We need airport info here. Landing distance available. Where is that chart? I will find it for you.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Here it is. Thank you very much by There Be Dragons. $10 donation. Thank you very much. Greetings from DC. Do you use your Logitech 3D Extreme 3D Pro with the right or left hand? Did it change when you got promoted? Love your content. Thanks for all you do. That's most generous. Thank you very much. There Be Dragons. Love that username. So I'm left-handed, and I use my Logitech Extreme 3D Pro in my left hand, even though it's not designed for a left-handed person, but that's just how I feel comfortable. But I'm a little bit ambidextrous, and changing from left seat to right seat really didn't make that much difference for me. It takes a little bit of adjusting, but it's quite quick to adjust there. But I use my left hand for my Logitech 3D Extreme 3D Pro, which isn't the most comfortable because the push-to-talk switch I have aside is designed for a right-handed person. But that is the life of a left-handed person. But thank you very much for the donation, There Be Dragons. And also, Gooseboy just came in 199. He goes... mega. Thank you very much, Gooseboy. Right, so as I was just saying, for the landing distance then, yes, the runway is 2,865 metres, but what we're interested in is the landing distance beyond the threshold for runway 27. You can see it's just 2,300 metres, so it's around 500 metres shorter, so that's the actual distance we're interested in there. Now, we're going to be quite light, actually quite light, quite heavy maybe, because we took quite a lot of passengers. We're only with 3.7 tonnes, 300 kilos to burn. Yeah, we are quite heavy, so 63.4. It's like on the edge between flap 30 and flap 40. I think in reality I'd probably go flap 40. I'd obviously check the landing distance, but you know what? If we use all the runway vacate at the end, which is what I want to do, I think flap 30 would be better. But yeah, we'll go flap 30, order brake 3, and we'll plan to use most of the runway because I want to vacate at the end. Top of descent there. So I'm going to imagine we got our descent clearance to, what's our first restriction? 260. I'm just going to wind in 260 there, so VNAV descent. So what I could actually do, I will do next stream. I'm going to get my landing performances away with the Boeing QRH. You can actually calculate your landing distance manually using a kind of table. So we'll do that next stream. But yeah, I want to vacate here right at the end on runway 27 at Bravo 9 or Bravo 8 because I want to park just here. So yeah, we'll go flat 30 or to break 3 and use most of the runway there. I feel like I've got way too many charts open here now. Need to localise, need the arrival. We can ditch that, we can ditch that. Right, I think we're all set. I think we've covered everything. And there we are. There's top of descent. Down we go. Please do not exceed MMO. Well, we've got a very high descent speed planned. Decimal 77290. Costic 30 should be around 280-ish knots, not 290. Behave yourself. Just approaching 0.3G manoeuvre margin there. But we're okay. Just keep an eye on it. And there we are. The mod is respecting that 260 at SOFI restriction. Right, so that's it. That's all the briefing done. I hope that made sense. And if you have any questions, drop it in the chat and I'll try and answer them with your approach. Before the approach, that is. So speed's a tad high, just monitoring VNAV really. We do have a brief level segment. We're just complying with the SOFI restriction to be below 260 and above 240, and you'll see that we have a brief level segment after SOFI. Speed's creeping up a little high. It can do that. We have got the descent winds in. I don't think the mod's really probably taking the full headwind into account, hence why we have a higher speed than our target speed there. We'll keep a close eye on it. 2 tons of love. The 3.5 degree slope is for the trolling parking garage on final. Yeah, I saw that. I was taking some screenshots for the thumbnail, and I saw the car park there, which has been modelled by Mr. X6 with his freeware scenery. It's a really good freeware airport as well. So we have one to go, but we're not going to go VS 1000 because I have to comply with this restriction of SOFI to be at or below flight level 260. Drag required, that is correct, because we are above our target speed. So we're just going to ignore it, allow the aircraft to level off at 260, which is the restriction, and we'll just have a brief level segment here. So the mod's pretty much nailed that. Just let the target speed get a little bit high, because I don't think it's taken that full headwind component into account there. Finn Hunt, hi, Fly Data Sim. What flight school did you go to for my ATPL integrated course? I went to Oxford Aviation Academy, or as it's now known as CAE Oxford. There we are. The Wizard asked earlier, can you land on the runway threshold? Well, you can't land on the display threshold, no. I mean, if it was an absolute emergency, you could, but there is a reason there is a display threshold there. It's to stop you from hitting something. But no, it's not there to be landed on. So approaching our next restriction, which is to be at or below flight level 230 at Compy. Now, that's a little bit ambitious, ZIBO. Flight level 260 to be at or below 230 at Compy, and you're estimating to descend there. That's 3,000 feet and about 5 miles. That's not going to happen. I'm going to just try this as a sort of a test. Let's wind in 230. Just confirm that is the restriction at Compo 230. Why is that left the top of descent so late? Well, let's just see what the mod does. See if it makes the restriction. I don't think it will. It looks a little bit tight. I think I'd like to be descending by now. Valek's cool. I'm literally starting at CAE in September. Mega. Fantastic. No way is it going to make Compo at 230. Let's have a look. I'm just monitoring the top of descent point, so it should start descending. There we are. Got to really shove that nose down to make that 230 restriction. Yeah, I think it was a little ambitious. Look at the VNAV profile drop, look. Shove that nose down. It might do it, actually. So look, in VNAV path, see how the path's running away from us? It should be doing that. It should be really nailing that path. It is, however, going to make that restriction, so I must apologise. I think it's actually going to do it. I thought that was a little bit late, but no, 21:44. It might just about make that restriction. I take it back. It is going to do it. No, that was actually not that bad. I mean, I think in the real aircraft it would have knocked that back about 3 or 4 miles and just been a lot smoother with that initial descent. But it's going for it. There we are, 230. Right, we'll step down to our next altitude restriction, which is Helix, 15,000 feet. So I'm going to get that in there. We need to be at or above 190, which we are. So 15,000 feet is set. I'm just going to push out at event just to get it going down. And then we can now select the local inches of mercury, which in San Diego right now, as of 53 minutes ago, unless anyone has an update, it still says 2988 here, but it was almost an hour ago that's been updated. So 2988, there we are. Adam Elcott, I went to the Pilot Careers Live in London back in the early days in November, and I had a long chat with CAE. I really want to go, but the bloody money is the right pain. Yeah, flight training is expensive, I remember. But yeah, I hope you get into a position where you can get yourself into flight training anyway. Right, so there's the new VNAV profile coming up. It's just going to have to play catch up slightly there. Should we be having a speed restriction? Next speed restriction is Helix at 270. Let's see if the mod does that. There isn't a decel point at Helix, and it does have a restriction of 270 knots in there, so I'm just going to put that back in the mod. 270 below / execute. No, it's not. There's another little bug there, so we haven't generated a decel for Helix, which you can see, and even put it in there manually. 270 knots at or below 15,000, so it's going to comply with the strict restriction. I'm not sure about the speed. We'll have a look there. Icefire coming in with another donation, $5. Thank you very much, Icefire. He's saying, I've noticed the ZIBO throttles down very slowly at top of descent. Is this accurate? Yeah, it's pretty accurate, Icefire. When you approach top of descent, it's all completely automated. The automation works out how much thrust to reduce or add at any one time. It's a little bit more aggressive if it's on approach and you're approaching a limiting speed, but it is generally smooth. The thing is, we're in a position in the real aircraft to always override it, so we're in arm now. I can always override the thrust whenever I want to get the desired speed there, but it is pretty smooth and it's pretty close to how it should be there. But thank you very much there for the donation, and also thank you very much to Kieran McCann, has joined as a new member to the channel. I really appreciate all the support there, and I hope you enjoy the members only Discord and all the content you get associated with that. Welcome to their channel as a member. Thank you very much there. Perfect. So there's, I forgot to set the inches of mercury as we are descending to an altitude 15,000 feet. I'm just going to use a little bit of speed brake here just to bring the target speed back under the control. Drag required. Now, the fact that it's pitching for Helix and the restriction is to be at or below 15,000, which we will comply with, I just want to see if it's going to update the target speed. It's still trying to do 290 at the moment. 250 at Jack. We've got the 250 at Jack, that's fine, but we should have had a decel before that to maintain 270 at Helix. Not sure why. We'll step down to 11,000 feet now anyway. Ah, there we are. Now, ZIBO, excellent work. The aircraft has correctly bugged 270. We were just missing the decel point there. You should only get one decel at a time based on your next speed restriction, but that decel's now disappeared. Well, never appeared, and we only had the decel for Jack. So look, the aircraft is behaving correctly. Look, 270 knots by Helix, it's doing that, and back on the vertical profile, we can actually stow the speed brake. Out of 10, guys, I have to give it a 9. It really is. All these individual restrictions, it's pretty much nailing them, and that is, I don't even want to know how difficult that is to program accurately, and it's using the data based off my current gross weight. So you know that I've got a higher weight today. If I select a lower weight, I think ZIBO has altered the path slightly. I'm not sure, but it's working pleasantly well. Really good.
Minimums.
Oh, lots of members coming in today. Need a new member. Reese Farrell's just joined as a member as well. Thank you very much for joining the channel as a member, and hope you enjoy the exclusive content. And to all members who have just joined, if you're ever having any issues joining Discord, drop me a message on Facebook, my Facebook page there, and I'll get you joined in as soon as possible, and then you can hopefully enjoy that content. And I will do another members only live stream soon. We're going to do 3 now, and we got some members only videos too, but we will have some more to come in the future. Jason Madden, hi, it was my 15th birthday about a month ago and I got a flying lesson at Carlisle Flight Training. Doing it on the 14th of December. Fantastic, Jason. Make sure you wrap up warm. Pretty cold in that light aircraft. Mega. Oh, make sure we put the seatbelt sign on, otherwise we'll have people sat on the toilet on the approach there. But no, enjoy that, Jason. I'm sure you will there. And approaching the next restriction at Jack. Jack, obviously after my dog. 11,000 feet, need to be below, which it looks like we will. Another member, 2 numbers coming in. I've got crikey, guys. I think I just sold it to everyone. Martin McKenzie and Heathrow Aviation have just come in, both as members. Thank you very much for joining the channel as members, and I hope again you guys enjoy the exclusive members only content. Appreciate all the support I get there. That's mega. Thank you very much, guys, and welcome as a member. Right, so approaching the Jack restriction. 11,000 to 10,000, so we respected that. ZIBO, you are just doing a fantastic job. Look, 11,000 feet by Jack, it will comply with that. Now we're going to go down to 8,000. And we've pretty much done this idle thrust the entire way. Really, really, really good. There we are, taking a little bit of a scenic view here. Mega. So there's 11,000. It has. This is acting correctly. The aircraft doesn't want to descend because we're at 11,000 feet. It's obviously now efficient for it to maintain 11,000 feet and then to start descending to meet the profile. There isn't a restriction at Aztec. We just have to be at or above 8,000. But the mod has accurately programmed a new path. Here it comes in, and it'll be pretty much a continuous descent now all the way in there. Neboja Skendikzik. Sorry if I completely mispronounced your name, as I have to do with half of my members. Thanks for the motivation. You've kept me going at my ATOPL studies, finish training, and have an E190 type rating date in February. Fantastic. That's mega exciting. Well done getting into your first job there. You got your foot on the ladder. That's what it's all about. Mega. So there we are. Just ZIBO. I cannot stress enough, guys, and I do this every time we're in the mod. This is for free. You got an aircraft which is really flipping, like, it's so good, and it's flipping free. It's just mega. It has its little flaws now and then, little bugs, but that's just the I love that quirkiness of it. I love to get those things fixed. Anyway, I'll shut up and let's do the flying. Passing 9,500 for 8,000 feet. Post cruise checks coming up. Fuel 4 pumps. We've got just shy of 4 tons on board, so we've got plenty now for a go around and a bit of thinking time. Lights coming on. APU's off. Pressurization 3.2 psi and set. Verify the seatbelt sign is on. Recall. There we are. The post cruise checks are complete.
1,000 ago.
2 tons of mega's the new word, yeah. I actually had a message in for someone that said, why do you say perfect so much? Because that's what my streams are. No, I wish. Right, passing 8,000, we can now step down to 6,100 feet. Now let's imagine ATC is very chilled out today and they've said, okay, broadsword 01, you're cleared RNAV approach, localised approach runway 27 via the Lucky One arrival, descend with the procedure, and that's how we'll treat this coming on here. Right, so this is unique to the ZIBO mod, or certainly flight simming. You have this glide slope on-off function. I always press on so I get the correct, well, what I feel is like the correct indications there. Right, so we're approaching a decel point here. That's going to be for the restriction I put in later on, or no, sorry, 210 knots at Lindy. Ooh, look at that, speeds ran away slightly. I was just commenting, look at the mod is, but it has lost the speed slightly. And that is to be max 210 knots at 5,000 feet at waypoint Lucky there. Sorry, Lindy. So we're just going to use speed brake there just to help us slow down, and we can now step down from Lucky down to 5,000 feet at Lindy. And we just got the speed brake there just to help it slow down. We're a little bit fast here. And we have got a level segment here actually after Lucky, because we had to be at 6,000 feet at Lucky. And I think we could ditch the star chart now because we can come in off the localizer for the rest of the approach. So Lindy, we could go down to 5,000, which we have set. The speed breaks out. We're going to comply with that restriction at Lindy to be at 210 knots because we have this new level segment here. So this is coded correctly. The aircraft should be leveling off here because we had to be at 6,000. I did say earlier it would be a continuous descent, but this is all looking very nice indeed. And there we are, the aircraft will now start descending. There's top of descent based off this level segment at 6,000 feet. We can now step down to 5,000, and actually we can go straight down to 4,000 as we're now coming up to the next step altitude. That's checked. And we are approaching 10 miles, so we can select flap 1. I am going to open the speed window as well. And we'll lock us into VNAV path now to follow the vertical profile in VNAV. So approach checks we check the frequency, we have the identifier, IBER, that checks on the PFD there, IBER, we check the fixed rings, check the frequencies, the courses are all set. We can arm the approach, there's no glide slope on this approach, but we can at least use the localizers around raw data backup as well. Right, so we're going to cross Lindy at just above 5,000 feet, so we can select flap 1. We can arm Vorlock as well to intercept the localizer. There we are, localizer alive, localizer capture. I'm going to select flap 5 now, just to keep the speed coming back, because it will increase the descent rates quite soon as we get onto a steep of 3.5 degrees. There we are, so there's the steeper profile coming in. I'm just going to go flap 10 just to make sure the speed doesn't run off. We are obviously a little bit of a steeper profile here today, and we're going to be passing O'Kane. After O'Kane we can now go down to 3,600 feet. And actually we can step down after O'Kane to the Chiji restriction at 2,700. So you just don't set the lowest altitude straight away. We step down, step down, step down, because the automation will respect the MCP altitude at all times. It will level off there. So maybe a little bit ambitious with flap 10. It doesn't matter the speed's coming up. It's always better to be safer than sorry. And you can see, look, it is now descending quite steeply. It's just VNAV path is trying to find that point now. We've got another decel point. We shouldn't have the decel point for the final approach speed there. Yeah, localizer capture, sorry, we're heading 275. So that's going very steep now. That's a little bit steeper than we should be doing. Yeah, 2,800. Chi-Chi, 2,700. So I'm just very carefully keeping the speed here. I've still got the speed brake of it. I'm going to have to get a speed brake out here.
1,000 to go.
Why has that gone so steeply? This could get a bit messy. We can now step down to 2,000 feet, so approaching descent. There we are, levelling off slightly. Speeds ran off quite quickly there. Don't know why we've got a slight oscillations on the VNAV path here. Chi-Chi 2,700, so yeah, it should be a bit more of a continuous descent there. Thank you very much, Simon Sandstorm, for joining as a member. Welcome to the channel as a member. I do appreciate all the support there. We've stowed the speed brake as well, because our speed's back under control. And now we are approaching our descent point, so 2 miles before the final approach fix, we can now set 800 feet. VNAV path we verify in the FM8, and the speed window is open. There we are, that's looking a little bit better. Around 1,000 feet for 3.5 degrees, that makes sense there. Kieran McCann coming with a £10 donation, thank you very much. Just wanted to thank you again for the entertaining content. Don't always catch your live stream, but the ones I do watch are always impressive. Well, Kieran, thank you very much for your most kind content. You haven't seen me land yet, then you'll be commenting something different. Yes, I don't have any accurate thing which can celebrate my landing rate, but you will see what it is. I do have a bet on at the moment. I think I've got to get less than, what was it, 95 feet per minute, otherwise I owe Tim 20 quid. But there we are, and look, there is the San Diego skyline. You can tell we're in America. Look at all this, fantastic. I visited San Diego whilst I was living in Arizona. Right, there's the final approach fix. We just verify the final approach fix height, which I forgot to do because I was too busy chatting to you guys, and I have a very late configuring here, so gear down. Well, no, alright, actually. Gear down, flap 15, match speed, landing checklist to flaps. Start switch is continuous. Recall is checked, speed brake R green light, landing gears down 3 green, auto brake is set to 3. We can now select the landing flap, 175 knots checked. Match the speed for flap 30, winds slight headwind, so less than 10 knots. Top of the 1,000 feet there, we can set the missed approach altitude, that was 2,500 feet, so that is now set. There we are. So flaps 30 required, 30 selected, green light, lights are on, landing check is complete. There we are, clear to land. Is all the obstacles on departure looking rather troublesome. Right, let's disconnect everything. Disconnect autopilot, auto throttle. You should be... Oh, crikey, 4 reds. Why is that put... Oh, no, 3 reds. Let's put it slightly low. No problem. We'll fix that straight away.
Approaching 2.
Continue.
7.
Thank you very much to the member as well. I'll say thanks later. But I've got minimum schools all over the place. So don't concentrate too much on the flight directors now, because they're following a VNAV path profile, not an ILS link. Not always be that accurate. I'm not looking at the flight directors at all. And we're looking good. 2 reds, 2 whites. Speed's a tiny bit high, so just reduce that thrust there. There's the power lines. You can see why you don't want to go 3 reds or even 4 reds there. So 2 whites, 2 reds, just still good. Keep it descending now. Yeah, that is a low power line, flip me. Back onto the centre line. Speed's a tad high, but no problem.
50, 40, 30.
Check.
20,
Close.
10.
Hold the attitude. Hold the attitude. Come on, where is that runway? Oh, come on. Minus 108. It's a little bit of a float there. Speed brakes up. Reverses. Second detent reverse. Oh dear, that was naughty. 7.5 second float. The flat worked out quite nicely. 100 knots. 80 knots. 60 knots manual braking. 60 knots reverse to idle. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to San Diego. Fantastic. We can stow the reversers, stow the speed brake, select flaps up, and we'll just taxi onto a convenient stand on our left, as there's no ATC here. Mega. That's the new word of the day. Guys, I think we know what we need as our new emoji is mega. That's my new word, is it? Mega. Wicked. Or wicked, perhaps. There we are. Right. Landing lights off. Start switches to auto. We'll get the APU up and running as well. I'm just going to make a left turn to taxi straight onto a stand here. At our own convenience. Auto brake to off. Transponder to out off. Strobes to steady. Probes can come off as well, and weather radar off too. It's certainly a lot easier when there's no ATC. You could just do what you want. Right, APU's up and running shortly anyway. Flight directors off. 3,100 and we'll bug 100 knots there. I think we've pretty much done the taxi and flight. What are you doing, you absolute maniac? Right, let's just pick a stand here on the left. Actually, I'm going to have to go on a little external view. Let's go for this one here on the right, whatever this stand is. I'll have a look at the comments very shortly. What was the membership I missed? Thank you very much to Jason Madden, who's going for his flying lesson in December, who's just joined as a member as well. Thank you very much, Jason Madden. Welcome to the channel as a member, and I hope you enjoy the exclusive members-only content as well in Discord. Fantastic, thank you very much. Right. Taxi turn off is coming off, and I think because it's a Mr. X6, this guy should hopefully... Hey, look, his hands are up. We're going to get marshalling as well. What a lovely welcome to the San Diego. Right, he's telling me to go straight, which makes sense because we are a little bit cocked on the line. And we can turn right now. Centre up, and he's telling me to keep going. There we are. Wait for those crossed arms. There we are. Brake. Lovely. Right, 2 blues, 1 red. Engines are dead. Mega. Fasten seatbelt sign off. And we wait until 20% N1 to turn that anti-collision light off. But that's it. Pretty much it for the before taxi inflow. Isolation valve open. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to San Diego for another on-time flight deck to sim flight. Mega. That is awesome flight, and the approach was pretty good as well. Fantastic job by ZIBO Mod, by ZIBO for the ZIBO Mod. I mean, it works. Little glitches here and there. It went very steep at one point. The speed ran off, but otherwise, really nice approach there. Now, let's do some replays. We'll do some replays for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I will take a 10-minute intermission before we prepare for the return sector back to Phoenix. This time we're going to go to Goodyear, but it goes without saying that it wouldn't be a flight deck to sim live stream without some fantastic replays and approaches. Right, so let's get ourselves back into... Look at that. That was a good guess. Right, let's go to the threshold view first. Now, you can't actually see the aircraft yet because of the position of the car park. Actually, do bear with me because I think I need to turn up the exterior volume now. I think that's loud enough. Right, so obviously a little bit higher because of the space threshold. I thought we floated a little bit aggressive with that check there. You see, look, it was just about 2 foot too high. I'll take it. Hey, I'll take it. Let's just do that a little bit further back. I want to do one in the car park view. We've got to do the car park view as well. Love that. The scenery is mega off the freeway. Can't believe it. That was pretty nice. So they're just over the touchdown zone slightly, but well, in the touchdown zone, but just off the aiming markers there. But I'll take that. That was a lovely approach there. Right, I just want to do one more replay. If I can somehow get it in the car park. I managed to do this the other day by using the Shift 2 feature. Let's do it here. So we've got to go for the... Right, bear with me guys, we're going for the Spotter's Paradise, okay? So the spotters are just here, aren't they, in the car park? Let's have a look here and see what the spotters would see. There we are. So if you're in that car park and you heard that Flight Deck Sim or Broadsword 01 was flying, that's what it would look like. Oh, that's so cool. I'm not sure what that smoke is. Is this freeware scenery, says Aaron Runes? Yes, completely free, this scenery. Oh, yeah. In the touchdown zone, that's the important bit, but it was a little bit longer than I would have liked in reality. Wicked. Guys, thank you very much. So, what I'm going to do is put you in a position where you can watch the landing and replay and taxi onto stand. I'm going to take a kind of quick 10-minute intermission, get everything set up for the next flight. Might even attempt to go back on that, and then we'll see what happens there. Right, anyway, just give me 10 minutes and I'll be straight back with you. Thank you very much. Well, hi guys, welcome back. I think we're all up and running again. Let me just make sure. Now, why is that? There we are. Good, we're up and running again. Sorry. Thank you very much for that short intermission. That just lets me get my breath back, get a few things set up again in the background, and we just need to put the GPU on the bus. There we are, and we'll shut down the APU. We'll get it started again. My operator, we have quite a quick turnaround, so we even shut the APU down, even if it's for 15 minutes or so. So that's roughly how long it will take me to get it all set up again. So yeah, where did we actually end up parking? There doesn't seem to be any guidance on kind of stand numbers here or anything like that. Doesn't say anywhere here or what stand we're on at all, unfortunately. We'll have the taxi light on. We shouldn't have done that. Let's have a look at the charts. We don't need this one anymore. Right, there we are. We're right in the corner here on the Alpha section. And if we go to parking stands, there we are. I think we're going to be roughly on... I'd go stand 40. We'll go with stand 40 there. That will do there. Peter, hello. Do you plan on trying the new PMDG 737 NGXU? Peter, I don't have prepared. And with the upcoming Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and my involvement with that, I won't be flying that, unfortunately, until Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 gets out. Doesn't seem to be much point investing in prepared with that coming out around the corner, but I do very much look forward to flying that, obviously. And I do miss flying the PMDG, but I had so much time inputting into the ZIBO Mod and X-Plane 11 that this is now my Gate 737 aircraft there. Sorry, stand number, gate number. Yes, of course, Florida. I must use the correct terminology whilst we're stateside here. Right, so the transit setup. The first officer's doing the walk around. The captain's going to fly the next sector because he's a grumpy captain, never lets the first officer do any of the sectors. That's not exactly how it works in reality, but there's only me. So we'll set the MFRA for departure. It's going to be around 1,000 feet of elevation because we're pretty much at sea level here. So we're going to set up here 1,030. That should do nicely. Tom's coming in with 20 Norwegian kroner. Thank you very much for the donation again. He's a very frequent donator and a member of my channel. Can you explain the wind correction on the approach page? Of course I can, Tom. I think you're referencing here the addition page here, the wind correction here. That doesn't actually physically change anything regards to the automation. It's purely for information. So you can put there, perhaps, I'm sure you're familiar with my, with the final approach speed that we fly based off the half wing component, half headwind component. You can simply put it there as a reminder. That's all it is. It doesn't input any information into the FMC or take that data. It's just purely as a visual cue, sort of like on the control column. Now you can just stick some numbers here if you so wish to remind you of something. But that's all it's for. So transit setup then. First officer's doing the walk around. We're doing the setup here. Let's have a look at the latest weather in San Diego. It's showing 26 minutes ago. The new inches of mercury is 2987, so it just dropped ever so slightly there. Right, so the fuel we need for the return sector, if we go to Avitab airports, Avitab charts, we can close this one or we can select this one to go to the next flight plan. So I only need 4.3 tons. I think that's because it's gone very soft on the alternate. Yeah, look, Phoenix, I reckon we only need 700 kilos. Let's say if we go as the crow flies, but it's probably going to be less than that. So an alternate or final reserve of anything less than 2.1 is very unusual. You'd have to bump that up. So we're going to take a bit of extra fuel. Just to get our reserves up to at least kind of 2.1 tons. Anything less than 1,800 is ringing alarm bells. So if we say the reserves are 2 tons and our minimum block fuel is about 420. So let's call it 5 tons. That's going to be a nice amount of fuel. And a little bit extra if we have to divert back to where we started from Goodyear to Sky Harbour. So we'll go 5 tons and we'll punch that in here. Why is it very quiet on the audio here? Why can I not hear anything of the ZIBO mod? There we are. It's because the door was shut, but it sounded very quiet. So we've got the fuel requested and fuel truck call. There we are. So we should be uploading the fuel. Excellent. There we are. Fuel is coming in. Mega. Right, so fuel's on the way, we're boarding, and we can now select the charts we require for our departure. So we've got the taxi stand, you can't drag and change these. We've got a standard taxi chart, and we're going to be flying our next SID, which is a Border 7. No, I haven't practiced this departure. Border 7, oh my goodness me. It's spelled Bravo Romeo Delta Romeo. We're going to be doing the Border 7 departure. So that's going to take us off runway 27. 19 DME of Papa Golf Yankee. Alright, that's the Poggy VOR, so 1645. We'll make that active. I still don't understand what she's saying. Guys, the liters on board. If someone could tell me what she's actually saying, that would be great, because I've always wondered that. We've got the Poggy VOR active. 90 DME Poggy off 278. Left turn 123. Intercept 080 inbound to Poggy. So we'll put 080 on my side. There we are. And from there, outbound 069 from Poggy. Inbound to Imperial VOR. I love that. Star Wars themed names. So I'll actually put 15.9 here. And the inbound course 250 radial, so I'll put 070 in this side. There we are. So we've got the VORs tuned up raw data. It is an RNAV SID, I think, but it is backed up by conventional navigation if we do lose RNAV. Oh no. No radar, it's just radar required for the 0927, just DME required, so it's a conventional SID, which is quite good. Takeoff obstacles, I should think that's to do with runway 09. Obviously the obstacles on the approach would be an issue for departure on runway 09. And we're happy with the SID, so that is all loaded. Right, let's get the FMC all plugged in. And I will tab to charts. There we are. Okie dokie, so index, ident. We've checked all that already. We are in San Diego, Kilo Sierra Alpha November. And we're going to Goodyear, which is where I did my CPL. I haven't checked. I've got one of the... Right, there's only one approach available here, and that's runway 03. Runway 21, there's no published approach. No RNAV, no GPS, no ILS, I think. And it will be landing on runway 21 and looking at the wind, I think. The wind down there, Goodyear... Oh, no, it's variable at 4 knots. So we'll either do the RNAV 03 or we'll probably do a visual approach onto runway 21. I might do like a straw poll thing so you guys can decide what approach we fly. But I am going to plan it on runway 21 because it was always runway 21 when I was there. Right, departure runway 27, border 7. And then from border 7, it's going to be the India Papa Lima transition. From India Papa Lima, Juliet 18 to Bravo Zulu Alpha. Bravo Zulu Alpha direct to Bravo X-Ray Kilo. And then from Bravo X-Ray Kilo, it's just direct to Goodyear, runway 03. There is no arrivals into this airport from the west, so it's all like basically the VOR goes, the router goes direct from this point here, direct over the airfield for runway 03. So if you're coming in from the west, you'd very likely get vectors. I'm quite sure Goodyear provide vectors, or certainly Arizona, the area around Phoenix would provide vectors into Goodyear for you. So we'll have a look what happens. What we're going to just do for now is put arrivals RNAV 03. Oh, cry! I have no idea. Hold on, I've got a chart printed somewhere for this approach. We'll put via Tatooine for now. Route activate execute. Just want to get rid of any procedural holds which could be in. Yeah, I don't want this procedural hold in. Tatooine, just to, you know, something for the FMC to chew on when we can decide when we get closer what approach we'll do. I'll let you decide. Probably be the RNAV 03 or the visual for 2-1. That's all looking good. Gross error check 278 miles. We do this as part of the route check. And we've got 282 miles. Excellent. It's the ground distance only, differing by 4 miles. It doesn't need to be exact, so just as long as it's roughly the same there. Right, so I won't change the zero fuel. I'll imagine the 172 passengers to San Diego and 172 coming back. Reserves are going to be the sum of the figures down here. We're going to bump that up. It's hardly enough reserves there. We have a minimum of 1.8 in my operator, so we're going to call it 2 tons to get to Phoenix. Cost index again of 30. We're going to go up to 33,000 feet a day. I think that's what we planned on. Yeah, 33,000. Don't know why the trip's predicted to be so low again, 283. It should be a little bit higher. Should be something like 410 maybe, based on this way. It is a long enough sector to get up there. Top climb wind for this sector. We're going to have a cracking tailwind all the way. Buckeye. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, I flew over that VOR a lot in my CPL. Buckeye VOR. Superb. So the top climb wind at 330. Yeah, look at this nice tailwind now. 289 at 60. The ISA deviation is going to be 1 degree. Temperature here in San Diego is 19 degrees. Lovely warm evening here. Again, takeoff thrust. I think 24k at this weight should be sufficient. Don't ever, if you find yourself in the cockpit of a 737 calculating your takeoff forwards, guess like I've just done, but we are in a desktop simulator. I'm quite confident that should do us fine. 4.77 on the trim. I just want to double check that because, yes, you can see after the landing, that's exactly where it would be with the automation. We would be trimmed up at about there. If I'd not set this, we would find that the nose is starting to go up at around 110 knots or so, so we definitely need to set around 4.7 units. There we are. So FMC is pretty much all loaded and ready to go. And now we can get that APU started again. Oh yeah, the elevation in Goodyear. What is that? Just trying to find the Goodyear chart. It's 969 feet, so we can put 950 up here in the box. And I'm just getting the other charts thrown away because we don't need those anymore. So 950. Oh, that does wind up very quickly. Hologram, the clock is still ticking. Ah, yes. Well, there's no set time to reset that, really. Obviously, you want to reset it prior to your next departure, but it's not written down in any of the procedure to turn off the clock here, reset it. But yes, we can reset that now. Reset the fuel flow indicator for the next sector. Transponder, that should have been on standby. We'd set the squawk. We're all looking good here. Just look at this. Flight director's on. And V2 146 knots. I don't think there's any stop altitude on this, Sid. Let's have a look. Top altitude assigned by ATC. There's no ATC, so let's just whack in here our cruise level 330. Very good. AP can now come on the bus, and we can get rid of the GPU. I think it's actually connected via the bridge, so GPU's not even connected. Brilliant. So I think we'll get the pushback sorted now. Pre-plan, and unfamiliar with the procedure here, but we'll do it to face in this direction, something like that.
Round to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Request pushback.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Set the cruise altitude, not set, oh, well spotted. I accidentally set 3233, very good. You'd make fantastic first officers. Really, really good. Right, do I dare try VATSIM again? Let's just do it. A farther flight plan. Connect, broadside 02, you never know what's going to happen. Is he here? Not yet. Oh, look at that. I love that little Cessna there. And there's someone over there. Let's see how long it takes. I'd say under a minute. Unless he's been told to go to bed by his parents. No ATC online. Yeah, I did see 2 tons of love.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Daniel Swift, I hear Jack whining in the background. Well, he's downstairs, so it's not me, it's not my girlfriend. I don't know what you're hearing. Jason Madden, how many flights does a captain do, and how many does a first officer do in a day? Well, at my operator we do 2 4 sectors typically, and the workload is halved. So 2 would be as pilot flying, 2 would be as first officer. The kind of roles it's done like that, not as captain FO. It's done as PFPM, pilot flying, pilot monitoring.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Right, so air conditioning pack's off, anti-collision light is on, and Parking brake is now released. Transponder out off. And there we are. Cleared push start.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Lovely. Right, yeah, I was just double checking the VATSIM map. We'll do Cassandra, thanks. Right, there's no ATC unfortunately. I know I should be doing the VATSIM thing, saying that I am pushing back. Oh, there he is! I just... Well, oh, he's in a Delta now. Oh, dear me. Well, it hasn't been told to go to bed just yet then. Unbelievable. Is this guy not asleep? I think all he does is just like wait for people to stream. Wonderful. Right, sorry, I was just checking something there. Right, so N1 is good, N2 oil pressure. Before you ever move that start limiter idle, you need to make sure you have all the usual stuff there. Yeah, I was just checking the VATSIM map, but I need to get some. I had someone in contact with VATSIM who said they were sorting it, but obviously it hasn't been sorted. There we are, pointing in the right direction. North, starter cut out, monster engine number 2, 24632 is stable. We can start engine number 1. Let's actually monitor the engine start for a change. Well, actually, I'd like to listen to the external views.
40.
Maximum is donating 50 Norwegian kroner. Maximum, the 7 is silent. Alright, Maximum, thank you very much for the donation. That's very much appreciated. Sorry if I initially mispronounced your name, as you've already correctly pointed out. So there we just managed to spot the spar valve light. That means we need to make sure that goes from dim to bright and off. There, but that's very important in all aircraft. If it doesn't, you have to abort the monitor the engine start there. Maximum, yeah, thank you very much for that. And starter cutout coming up. There we go. Disconnect headset and hand signals as well. Another donation coming in as well. Thank you very much. It's from you again, Maximum. Twice donating 50 Norwegian kroner, 50 Norwegian kroner, reminding me how to pronounce your name. But thank you very much there. Double donation. I don't know if you were meant to do that. Probably a little keen to get your donation in, but appreciate it nonetheless.
So is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the left. We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Thanks a lot. We shall. Daniel Smith, on a scale of 1 to 10, how realistic are the ZIBO engine sounds? They're... I'm going to put it on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, they are slightly different in this sort of way, but they're very close as well. Like the spool up sounds are very nice. I'd say 8 for me, and I'm not saying 8 highly because I'm involved in them. They are very, very good, and they're certainly very, very immersive. I really like the sounds they produce there. Right, he showed us the bypass pin, so again we can go into the before taxi flow. So generators on, APU off, start switch is continuous, probe heat is on. And anti-ice not required, air condition auto, APU bleed is off, that's all set correctly. Flaps, and flight controls, forwards, back, left, centre, right, centre, here comes the rudders. Oh gosh, every time I move my chair, my rudder pedals move as well. There we are, clear, full right centre, full left centre, recall, blank the lower DU, check the stab trim set for departure, which it is, and that's it. You then read the before taxi checklist as well. I just read a comment there. Your AP on bus button is stuck. Interesting, yeah. It was stuck. I mean, it shouldn't be stuck. Well spotted there. Now, I've had people report issues with APU generators tripping and stuff going on the bus. I don't know, that could be why, but yeah, that was a bit of a bug there. Obviously, APU's not running, so all I'm doing is tripping off the IDG from the transfer bus, but not sure why it was doing that. Anyway, we're all good to go. I'm in a good position. Rudder pedal's good. Right, release parking brake. And there's a gourmet truck there to hit, but we'll try not to do that. There's the config check. Takeoff config warning horn. Doesn't sound, and we are safe to taxi. There's a lot of things that fuel trucks and gourmet trucks. Bang! Massive collision in front of me by the looks of it. That is an old looking truck as well. Mega. Oh, crikey, I was trying to do a bit of a taxi pass view. Hold on. There we are. Try and do a little bit more of these, especially as we will have a great departure, because I think we're going to go back over. We'll see the city on the left-hand side. Gourmet, sorry, not gourmet. That's my common coming out there. Definitely need a mega emoji. What is this mega emoji? I keep getting emails from YouTube saying use super stickers. I don't even know what that is yet. I might look into that. Maybe you'll be able to have a super emoji or something. I have no idea. I'll look into that in the future, guys. Lovely. So we're on the taxiway. I mean, I've not even looked at the taxi charts. But yeah, we're on the parallel taxiway. Bravo. We're going to go all the way to the end, full length for runway 27. And there is the San Diego skyline. Just to show you what you get as part of that freeway scenery, and I obviously taxiing at the same time here, but you get this entire cityscape. I can't remember the name of this aircraft carrier. I've been on it. I've been on the tour, but there's even a helicopter hovering. All the cities are there. You've got all this built-up area here. There's a military base. It's really, really, really good. There we go. I did that without taxiing off the end of the taxiway there. IceFire coming in with a donation, $5. Thank you very much again, IceFire. Out on during movement at American airports. Oh, well, I had no idea. So, there you go. Out on. Out off in Europe, anyway, at least. But thank you very much. USS Midway, thanks, guys. I apologise for my lack of American knowledge on that aircraft carrier, especially after being on it as well.
50, 40,
So, yeah,
30,
thanks, guys.
20, 10.
And that's at the Coronado Naval Station. Yeah, I remember seeing there when we were on the USS Midway. You could look over there and you could see there was some the US Navy there in full force. Yeah, ranked Seco America, exactly. I went to a NASCAR race in Phoenix as well over the when I was there. It was really, really, really fun to go see. And I love the patriotism of America. You guys are absolutely fantastic for your country. We had some F-14s flying over and everyone was going crazy, waving flags. Well, no, it was F-15. F-15 from, is it Ryan? Ryan Air Force Base? I can't remember. But yeah, I love the patriotism in America. You always find us Brits quite funny. Perfect, right, as we're approaching the threshold, we now do the before takeoff checklist. So config we've checked, flaps we have 5 green lights, stab trim is set for departure, just shy of 5 units set. Takeoff briefing, the packs are in auto, bleeds on, the V-speed set for departure, 36, 37, 46 up here, and the SID we're flying, what was it called again? Wrote it down somewhere, the Border 7, that's it, the Border 7 departure, climbing straight ahead, slight right turn on a heading of 278 degrees, until we get to 19 DFM off Poggy. I love that VOR. And then from Poggy, we're going to make a left turn 123 heading to 260 radial back into Poggy. Then from Poggy, we're going to go back into the Imperial VOR. There isn't a stop level. We're going to go straight up to 330. You'll use NADP1 for departure. NADP2 for departure. Sorry, I had no idea what noise is required here in San Diego. That's it. Well, imagine that's reviewed. Oops. All the passengers are still standing in the cabin. Seatbelt signs on, fasten belts on, and the cabin attendant is done. Passengers and cabin crew are seated for departure. There we are. On Florida, I love these references. It's called Border because you're almost in the Mexican border right now. There you go. They're all aptly named. I love that. Right, so approaching the threshold for runway 27. We'll imagine we've got our takeoff clearance. Just checking the latest wind. It might not be what we have in the simulator, but having a look here on Aero Weather app in San Diego right now, it's 310 at 7 knots. That's perfect, my sort of weather.
Approaching 27.
That all checks, so we've got our takeoff clearance. Oops, there we are, so that's all set. So, all looking good there. So MCP is set, transponders set to TA, RA, strobe lights are on, landing lights are on, checks are complete. And we can start the timer now, so I don't forget. There we are. So looking for the runway Qdm, which is 275.
On runway 27.
Oh, actually, it's not 275. Look, because I think that was based on the final approach track on the runway. The final approach track's about that. I'm just going to check what the runway Qdm is on the heading bug. I should have had that set. I've already thrown away the charts. Oh no, it was 275. Not sure why that's misaligned there slightly. Right, I hope we're all ready to go anyway. Timing is started. And we can set the thrust levers up to 40%. I don't usually do this view. I'll say that's about stabilise. Push toga. Set takeoff thrust. We better look where we're going, eh? Set takeoff thrust. Looking for 94.5. Takeoff thrust set indications are normal. Checked. Release the forward pressure. V1, hand off the thrust lever, rotate 2 to 2.5 degrees per second, and there we are, we're airborne.
Positive rate.
That's the gear coming up. There we are. See you later, San Diego. Right, get back onto those flight directors, otherwise we're going to fall out the sky. 1,000 feet, and we'll get the autopilot in now and bug up. So I just want to check the behaviour of this. That's all looking correct. Please close the cabin door. It is closed. There's V2 plus 15. We can select flap 1. And we've got climb thrust now engaged. 89.7. A little bit ambitious there, the manoeuvre margin coming up. So we flew the departure manually for our last time. I just want to check the automation's working, because we did have the 1.3G manoeuvre margin was a little bit higher on than it should on an earlier version. There's the flap 1 bug, so we can select flaps up. Jason Madden, when a pilot is taking off, what do you mean by thrust is set? Your target thrust, so the thrust that you've calculated in the FMC, or manually using the M1 bugs, has to match. With it could be a slight discrepancy of about 1%, so you just want to make sure that you actually have the thrust you want set, because if you don't have enough thrust and you're performance limited, well, you'll never be able to get airborne, so it's quite important, that check. Right, so there's VNAV. Someone told me earlier, even though we're climbing to a flight level, in America I have to wait until the transition altitude, so I'll leave 2987 set, passing 3,700, flight level 330. Let's do the after takeoff checklist. So start switch is off, gear up and off, water brake is off, air conditioning pressurization 2.0, and all set. And we don't set standard, as I've been told already. After takeoff checklist is complete. So there's 19 DME off Poggy. And there we are in this turn now, and we're going to go on a heading of 123 to intercept the 080 radial. Obviously following it in magenta line and LNAV, but if we were to lose the FMC or have any issues with conventional the FMC, we just go on to heading select, match the heading, tune the course up. We've already got 080, arm Vorlock, and then you can track the radio using the automation. God, I love some of these views. Nicholas Hadjianotoni. My apologies if I've mispronounced that. Have you had any serious emergencies? No, touch wood. I will continue my career that way as well. I have not had to do anything serious as a captain yet. Not had any. I've diverted a couple of times as captain, But mostly, well, one weather related, the other airport closed as we were running too late and we never got in, unfortunately. But nothing serious. As an FO, I've had no technical diversions or anything like that. I'm not going to go into much detail on anything because it's all kind of like, oh, I don't want you to have to guess, or a lot of you are quite aware of who I work on, so I don't want to discuss things I might have had in the past. But no, nothing truthfully serious to this date. Right, there's 10,000 for flight level 330. We can now do the pre-cruise checks again. Fuel 4 pumps, lights can come off. Logo's off, APU's off, pressurization is all set. Release the passengers, release the cabin crew, and recall. There we are. Pre-cruise checks are complete. And let's have a look in the captain's seat as we say goodbye to San Diego. Superb. Unsolved puzzle 123. What are your field of view settings? I think it's 110. 110. Jason Madden, when I've been in flights, attendants always go off way before the seatbelt signs go off. Yeah, that wasn't terribly realistic, to be fair, Jason. Sorry. I should have done that at around 4,000 feet and then the fastest seatbelt sign to auto. You'd never do it like I've just done it, basically. Daniel Smith, will you be flying the A319 with the BSS CFM sound pack? I still have my Tollis A319 in the hangar, gathering dust, and no doubt that for your entertainment we'll fly it again. But I haven't invested in any said sound packs. Yeah, tut tut naughty captain, yes. My virtual cabin crew are tripping over the virtual passengers right now. That's why I do as realistic as possible, follow everything by the book. That's why you guys, or any line pilots, or anyone on their type rater, I say don't follow exactly what I'm doing, because it's an entertainment stream, you know. And like with a lot of tutorials I have to adapt things to make sure that they can work smoothly in a desktop simulator. Right, so if I go to VOR, you can see we're just slightly off the center line there. That's because we're super close to Poggy now, so you don't have to worry about the accuracy of that. We're about to actually fly right over the top of it. We've been tracking it inbound on the 260 radial there. Normand, by error I placed the starter switch to flight and then I reached cruise level, both generators disconnected. Is this normal? I've had reports of this from other people. No, the starter switches are not connected to the IDGs in any way. The starter switches provide ignition to the engines, but I've had lots of people reporting issues with the IDG disconnecting, or the buses being tripped, and it's been linked to the starter switches in some way. I've not had the issue on the first sector. Doesn't seem to be any issues on this sector. We might do later, and I've not seen any whilst testing, but I don't know what could be causing that. Yeah, Cockney John, fantastic sound of the aircraft purring away. Yeah, and someone asked only a few minutes ago how realistic are the sounds. Yeah, that is that sort of background noise you get in the flight deck too, but you know, I have a noise cancelling headset on, so you don't really set it. Right, well that's reminding me to set standard, which we would have already done at my operator, but it is now set. Just want to do one of these flyby things. This is really cool. It's like one of those aircraft viewing, aircraft filming another aircraft. A lot of these videos online. But yes, someone asked if they could see the livery in full. And this was designed by a chap called Michael Fogelman, who got in contact with me about a year ago now, I think, and said, can I design a livery for you? And he said yes, and he made this, and it was absolutely stunning. Really, really like it. And that is X-Plane 11. Really, really good simulator. Get back into the office, eh? So passing 200, check the pressurization. It's getting dark actually. We might be making the approach a little bit closer to sunset. What's the local time here? Is it 8 hours behind? 7 hours? So, yeah, coming up to 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening here. Very quick cruise look, top of descent here. Oh, crikey, I said I was going to do a straw poll. Someone told me what a straw poll was the other day on what approach we're going to fly into Goodyear, because they have no approaches onto 03. Let me just check the wind. I mean, if the wind is really favouring a certain runway, we'll stick with it. But right now in Goodyear, it's showing variable at 4 knots. So, you know, either runway we could choose. I'm on the straw poll website. Create your straw poll in seconds, and I'll post the link, and then you guys can tell me what approach we're going to fly into Goodyear. It'll be either a visual or the Arnav approach. It looks like the comment section is going for visual, but I'll let you guys decide. Hold on. So, what approach are we going to fly into Goodyear? Choose an answer. Visual runway 21 or Arnav runway 03. Create poll. There we are. And here is the link. Copy link. So make sure you click this quickly. And it's now 22:50. Let's say at 2300 Zulu, I'll close the poll, and then I'll do whatever you chose. We're in a democratic vote here at Flight Deck Sim. So you guys can choose what to do. There's the straw poll link. Let me know if it's worked. Well, I'm going to click the link myself. There we are. I'm not going to vote, but I'll let you decide what approach we're going to fly. So if I refresh it, has that gone live? Is that working? Show results. 63 people voted already. Oh, look at that. 78% on the visual already. Oh, crikey, we're icing here. I should look at what I'm doing instead of grading polls. Answer is pretty clear, looks like, but we'll give it until 300 Zulu anyway. Will Lloyd link doesn't work. I think it should have worked. It should have got nearly 100 votes now. Anthony Teal, it has to be runway 21 for old time's sake. It does, to be fair. Oh, look at that. Just on top of the clouds there. Very nice. Yes, runway 2. I think I landed on 03 maybe 3 or 4 times in 6 months there. Oh, that is cloud surfing. That's my favourite part of the job, and I can still do it sat at home in a desktop simulator. Alfie Douglas, Bilbo, you legend. Is this a reference to Lord of the Rings? Bilbo Baggins, sorry, I got your comment. If you don't get the answer you want, will you propose a second vote? Just like the Brexit election. Oh dear. Reese Farrell, do you think the F1 Championship will be a proper 3-way fight next year? We can only hope. It's the last year before we go to new regs, isn't it? So, I don't know. I think it will be another dominant year for Mercedes. Well, Vettel has a lot to answer for the reason Ferrari had a turmoil this year. I know they had some bases where the car wasn't strong, but you could at least easily count into 4 of those, a quarter of the Grand Prix where Ferrari made critical mistakes. A quarter of the Grand Prix, sorry. So yeah, we'll see. I hope it's a little bit more competitive. It needs to be. Right, so how on earth am I going to do this visual approach? Because there's no charts. I'm going to have to build something in the FMC. We'll fly the visual approach as we do at my operator. Basically use the FMC, build something there, and then we'll go through it. Matthew Schmidt, Apex tonight? No, I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not. I'll be going to bed after this. I've got to drive quite a way tomorrow to get my new passport. 10 years, and my passport renewal's finally tomorrow. I have to pay a stupid amount of money to get that done in the UK these days. Right, bank angle 10 degrees. Now let's check out this poll now. Refresh the page. Created by a guest. Show results. 77.91% for the visual and 22% for the RNAV. I think I know what it's going to be. Goose Point, that's exactly where I'm going tomorrow as well. Steve Mayer, that's you all done. Good night. Well, Steve, thank you very much for popping in nonetheless, and you'll be able to watch my calamitous approach on replay there. Felix Host, I'm finishing my MCC training on Sunday and will then also graduate flight school. And after that, it will be time to find a job. What is your current view on the job market for FOs? Now, I don't know where you are, but in Europe, it's got a little bit stagnant, I think, with so many operators having gone bust in the last few years. The MAX has caused a lot of issues for a lot of operators too, and their expansion plans. So I don't know where you are. I think it's got a little bit stagnant in Europe for now. Elsewhere in the world, there's a lot of demand, China, India. And if it is your first job, just... I don't know what your personal circumstances are. I was very fortunate that, in fact, when I finished, I didn't have anything holding me back. I didn't have a partner. You know, I was still living at home, rented, you know, at my parents, you know, and I was prepared to go anywhere in the world. I was just very lucky to get where I was at the site at the time, right place, right time there. But yeah, good luck anyway with everything. That's all I can say. Oh crikey, guys, you've not given me any time. Look, top of descent. I've got a plan for a visual approach. I've got no charts available. Right. I think let's have a look. I've refreshed the vote there. No one's feeling generous today. I said I'd wait until 2300, but we were on top of descent by then. After 80, I've finished the votes anyway, so after 88 votes, the most popular answer to the poll is to do the visual 2-1 with a 76%, so it was actually a bit of a drop-off there. Oh, look, you can. It's so clever, you can select deadlines. I'm just going to put now. Set deadline. There we go. The poll is closed. It's going to be the visual approach. Rest in peace, stream. There we go. Oh dear. Right, so let's get rid of the San Diego charts. Bring up Goodyear. And here we go. Airport 1, Arrival 2. None of these are applicable because they bring you in from the south and the east. We're coming in from this direction here. So where is Goodyear? Goodyear's just here, look, we're coming in from this direction. The other chart's no good either. Approach, look, just GPS 3. There's nothing for me to select here. So it's a visual. There's no charted approach. We have to put something in the FMC. So what are we going to do with this? Now I need to look at Navicraft because I want to find a waypoint I can build this approach off and go from there. So we've got Bravo Kilo X-ray going to runway 03. Now I need to find a waypoint around here on base to create a base leg really. Now there's a common misconception and a visual approach is disconnect everything, look out the runway and don't use the tools available to you. You can do it that way, but you're just going to massively increase your workload. In a commercial environment when you've got fair paying passengers, it's not the way things are done these days. So you basically use your FMC, you can use the automation, build something there, but then applying with the rules associated with a visual approach. So you've got to be visual with the terrain. The runway needs to be in sight once you request visual approach, and then you can descend as you wish, making sure you keep the runway in sight and the terrain at all times. At my operator, visual approaches at night time are permitted, but you can't self-position below the MSA. So it's... Oh, what am I doing? Oh, did I just have something trip off there? That was because I was messing with the light switch there accidentally. So yeah, visual approaches at night, it's a fool's game really. You don't want to be doing those sort of things. And certainly in our route network in Europe, it's requesting a visual approach at most of our destinations, it's denied because of the amount of traffic and they just kind of have the capacity. But we have no choice here in Goodyear. In reality, you'd probably most likely get vectored onto a final approach segment, but we're going to build something for the visual approach anyway. Now I'm just having a look at my Navigraph charts on the background here. There's a waypoint called Perky, just to the northwest of Goodyear. So what I'm going to do is after Bravo X-ray Kilo, which is our last waypoint in the white on our flight plan. We're going to route to a waypoint called Perky. Let's see where that is. Okay, that's accepted that. I just want to see where that is pictorially. Perky. Oh, that's really well placed. Yeah, we've got Perky here. So we'll route to Perky in LNAV. We'll imagine that AT will clear us after Bravo, Kilo X-ray, you know, we'll imagine it was some sort of vector. And then we get to this point here, we'll self-position onto the approach. We'll imagine, yeah, okay, broadsword 01 after Perky, cleared visual approach, report on final. So let's go Perky. Departure arrivals. So you need to select here just runways 21. Let's create a 5-mile final onto a 3-degree path. Execute legs. So after Perky, we want RX21. Execute to see how this looks. So we've got Perky. There we are. And now we need to create a little waypoint on base leg here. So we need to go Perky on this radar. Well, we know the QDM. What's the QDM for the runway? Well, I've got no chance. Let's have a look at the airport chart. So the runway QDM is 208. So if we go on the reciprocal of that, which is 028, make a waypoint off here, 028 at about, what's that about? Here, about 7 miles. That'll be a good guess, I think. Perky, 028 radial, 7 miles. Oh, it's just some stuff you cannot teach, guys. that was just a lucky guess. There we go. And then from there, we'll go direct to RX21. Execute. I think that looks pretty. So I don't know yet. I think that looks pretty good. There we are. So we've built something in the FMC for the visual approach. So imagine Racy's cleared us after Perky visual. We can just use this to guide us to the runway. And visual, you have to basically monitor everything very carefully. LNAV, VNAV, make sure the aircraft is behaving correctly. Perky 01, we're onto a 5-mile final, so I definitely want the speed to be less than 180 knots here at Perky 01. So yeah, you can see, look, ZIBO mod, brilliant. Look, it's already planning to slow down by the RX point. I just want to make sure that we're definitely bringing the speed below 180 knots on base leg there. We've got a hard altitude for the RX point, that's fine. VNAV will lock onto that down to the runway point. Now, there's no minimums here for a visual approach. Now, at my operator, what we do is, there are no minimums on the visual approach. There isn't a point at which you have to be visual. You are visual prior to the approach, but as an operator, we create a kind of like something on the, as a minimums call, as a stabilized approach point, and we just set it 500 feet AGL, and you just find the elevation. Where is it on a Navtech chart? I have no idea. Made a note of it. It's 969 feet, so 969 plus 500. So what we're going to do is set a kind of 1469 as our minimums, and this just acts as a sort of minimums call. We just want to make sure that we're fully stabilized here. By stabilized, I mean landing flap selected, gear down, fully configured, landing checklist complete, and on approach, profile and speed. Now this will be a really good test for the ZIBO mod for VNAV and LNAV. I mean, this is exactly how I'd fly a visual approach if there was no other approach available. Now, what you have to always question is, in an airport like this, why isn't there a published approach onto this airport? You know, why isn't there one? Why haven't they got a GPS approach onto runway 21? I have actually no idea. My guess would be the fact that I think right to the north of Goodyear there's another airport which I also flew into, so I don't know building an approach would affect any other airports or airspace, but yeah, there's a reason why there's no approach. It's usually for terrain or obstacles, so you have to always question that. I know that there shouldn't be any issues, but I've flown this approach a lot in a Seneca and a Piper, but this was 10 years ago. It's very important to be aware of the terrain, obviously around Goodyear. I mean, we're going to have to look at the on approach for 03. There's the MSA. There's a lot of high terrain, 5,800, and you can see, look, there's high terrain to the east, southeast of the airfield there, so you just have to be aware. But it is a visual. You can see outside the runway, and it's most likely you get vectored onto the approach initially there. Right, well, we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes on. Fingers crossed for the mod, how it behaves. Let's whack in flight level. I don't know. There's no restrictions here. Let's just put in 80, let VNAV do its thing as we approach top of descent. Who knows what's going to happen? So yeah, you know, the operator I work for, they're really good in saying that every airport we fly to, they create a document called an airfield brief, and they explain to you what all the different approaches are available. If it's a tricky approach like this or a visual, they'll actually give you the advice, oh yeah, put this in the FMC, put that in the FMC, do this, do that, which is great, but we're kind of winging this slightly. But this is the beauty of a desktop simulator. Oh, look, the ZIBO mod's a little bit on that target speed again. Just keep an eye on that. Robert Sinclair, descent winds, very good. That's probably why the VNAV passed slightly off. Actually, that's a point. Let's just whack some winds in and see if it changes the profile. But yeah, super short flight, and you got me. You guys voted for this. It took all my capacity and ability to brief and set this up there. Let's just check the speed. Yeah, keep an eye on that. Not falling out. Yeah, that's doing quite well. Bang angle 25. Do the performance as well shortly. I mean, I'm just going to whack in a couple. Let's just put in 150 and 100. Or 15,000, sorry, as we are in the US. Just want to see if it actually affects the profile at all. Actually, what's quite important is that we get the correct QNH set as well in VNAV initially. Variable 4 knots still, 18 minutes ago, 15 degrees, 2991. I don't like being heads down for this long, not looking at the instrumentation. Right, let me just see if I execute this, if it changes the VNAV profile slightly. Execute. There we are. So the calculation now should be taking into the winds, and it's updated it. We're now going to do 1,000 feet per minute until we recapture the VNAV profile and descend from there. David B, I thought you had to go to Pinky before Perky. You're giving your age away. Krista, excellent teaching. Thank you. Oh, you're most welcome. I sat in a simulator for 2 years teaching this sort of stuff, so I'd say it comes naturally. It's just it's good. It's actually really good for me to review this stuff, and you know, I'll go to bed tonight and I'll be thinking about something we did in the stream, and you know what, that'll make me look at the manual tomorrow. I'll just double check something in the ops manual and go, oh, you know what, that's something that I didn't quite realise, and I'll review that. So it's good for me too. Always learning. Landing performance, sorry, landing distance available here. We don't need the flight plan anymore, and that is landing distance available, runway 21. There's no, it's full length available, no display threshold, so 8,500 feet. What's that in meters? Not 100% sure. It's a long runway. There's jumbos here. Let's go flat 30 on a break 2, and we're going to be burning another 500 kilos, 62.3 with Phoenix Sky Harbour as our alternate. New member coming in, Mac Mole. Thank you very much for joining the channel as a member and providing dedicated support there. I hope you enjoy the members only content, all linked around the Discord, so thank you very much for becoming a member. Iwan Reese Jones is coming in as well, £1.99. Thank you very much for the donation.
50,
Love your
40,
streams. Well, thank you very
30,
much, Ivan, for the donation
40,
there. I'm glad you're
10.
enjoying the content as well. And if you are still watching and haven't done so already, I do appreciate the thumbs up on the video as well. It gets it out to as many new people as possible. Really pushing the amount of subscribers off whilst I've got a lot of free time to get these streams up. Pushing for the 40,000. I can't believe how many subscribers we're up to now. Post 36,000 now, aren't we? Incredible, really. Thanks a lot, guys, for looking up the runway length. 2,590 metres. Flap 30 order break 2 should do us quite nicely to vacate at the end. And I did get this scenery as well from the X-Plane forum. It's freeware scenery from ST54 Kev. I made a note of that, but if you type in Goodyear X-Plane 11 scenery, you'll find a link for that on the top there. It's quite a nice little accurate rendition of the airport, and it certainly looks pretty good to the real airport as well. Superb. So VNAV's doing its thing. We've got a decel here. It's an early decel. I'm guessing that's for the 250. Yeah, that's going to be the 250 below 10,000. That's good. And then we should have the next decel. Look at this VNAV. Look, nailing the speed, nailing the path. Oh, I cannot stress enough. If you weren't here an hour and a half ago, download the ZIBO mod. It is just phenomenal. A great 737, really. Dougal, one of my new members, has just donated £5. Dougal, that's most kind. And as I say to all my members, I never expect you guys to donate, but thank you. Thank you very much. He says, many thanks for yet another fantastic teaching stream. Much appreciated. Well, Dougal, you're most welcome. You know, thanks for the support. That's all I can really say. And thanks for being a continued member as well. But yeah, you're most welcome, guys. This is just what I do. I love my job. I love flight simming. This is what I like to do in my spare time, and you know, I don't ask for anything in return, but all these little donations and stuff to get back something for the amount of work I put in is really appreciated. So yeah, MSGN, you're liking all the new words today. Mega, superb, perfect. What's the word? I don't want to stereotype, but an American word. They like the cool. They like to say cool quite a lot. Icefire, I think you'll do another general aviation stream at some point. Absolutely. You know, we've done a few ZIBO mod streams now. I have sat in my X-Plane 11 hangar a Hawk, BAE Hawk. I have a Robin R DR400. I have a 737-200. And what's the other? I've got a helicopter. I've got a Huey. I think we should do a helicopter stream at some point, just for a bit of banter. But yeah, we'll do some general aviation streams for sure again. That would be fun. Next up, Splendid. Snap Flying, first off, saw the 7-3. Love what you're doing. Fantastic. Don't take away what I'm telling you to do and put it on the real aircraft, please. I don't want you to be involved in something. I said, oh, I watched one of Flight Deck to Sim videos. Only consult your approved operating manual. Right, going down to 8,000, aren't we? So let's set our inches of mercury, which is 29901. There we are. 29901. Didn't even set this earlier, did I? Ah, yes, Josh, you're right. The 75 or 777. Yeah, there's a flight factor 757, which I've been told is very good. I think that'll be worthwhile getting. Dougal, your brother has a 50% share in a Robin DR400. Most don't believe they have diesel engines. Yeah, I could believe that. I've never flown a diesel aircraft, but that one we flew on the stream, and it has full FADEC control, so it calculates your mixture and all that. You just have a up and down, power thrust lever. It's really, really cool. Right, let's put the seatbelt sign on. The VNAV is nailed it so far. 60 miles to go, around just below 18,000 feet. Yeah, roughly makes sense. Very good. That's actually a point there, Yanis Augustin. In a few minutes, Luke Air Force Base. I think our routing's going to probably take us right over Luke's Luke Air Force Base, which could cause issues. I'm not 100% sure if this routing would be legitimate. I've just built this based on no airspace constraints whatsoever. It's just us in X-Plane. But in reality, you could build your visual approach around it. You could put something like this in the FMC and just you'd negotiate with ATC. All right, can we self-position? Or if we have vectors, and if you have vectors, that's fine. You can just update the positions. If you go over to the east, you could just create a new waypoint. That's what the pilot monitoring would be doing. You know, using the FMC as a tool. You don't become too reliant on it, but it's there to be used. So you can build it there, help work out your vertical profile. You can just join it as a circuit if you want. You know, just join a circuit altitude, configure flat 5 base leg, do it that way, and go from there. And this is where I did all of my hour building. It's just... yeah, I'd love to do another general aviation flight around here from Goodyear. I think I'll do that on one stream just for my trip down memory lane for myself. It'd be very nostalgic for me, but this is mega. Goose Boy coming in with a £2 donation, thank you very much. Cuppa on me when you fly into East Midlands, great stream always, Goose Boy, thank you very much. If I ever find myself in East Midlands, I'll get myself a drink from the terminal, thank you. Sounds are super.
50, 40, 30,
Cool, thank you very
20,
much, Goose Bay.
10,
Goose Boy, sorry, not Goose Bay, crikey. So approaching a decel point, that's going to be for the 250 below 10,000. Oh, looks, it's incredible how your memory, you know, I can look around at this terrain and just go, I flew around here and, it's very, very weird, really. Right, there's the restriction coming in. And then we're going to maintain 240 for a short while. Let's leave it at 240 below 10,000, that's okay. And we'll step down, I'll imagine we've been cleared down to 5,000 feet, which is just slightly below the MSA, but we're completely visual today. It's a perfect approach for a visual. Raldane Thomas, hi Flight Deck Sim, been a subby for a long while, but haven't been able to catch any of your streams. Left and came back to see a real life pilot streamer. Well, thanks for coming back as a subscriber, and I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. We're about to do a visual approach here into Goodyear, which is somewhere, which is where I did my commercial pilot's license. We've got a little bit of overcast kind of coming in here. Right, so it looks like we're going to be a little bit hot for 250 below 10,000. Well, maybe not. It is slowly creeping back. Do the post-cruise checks now. Fuel 4 pumps, lights on. How much fuel we've got on board? Just over 3 tons. That's okay. Pressurization 3.2 and set seatbelts on. Recool. There we are. And we'll imagine now that we're talking to Phoenix Radar, and they said, okay, broadside 0 on. Route direct to a waypoint called Perky. Descend to 5,000 feet after Perky cleared visual approach runway 21, and we'd report the field in sight, but we'd still be under some sort of radar control at this point here. I'll put this glide slope on business. It just gets rid of all the guidance. There we are. Fabi, next stream some raw data manual flying without flight directors. It's been a while since we did that. We have done it a few times. I mean, this will be... when I disconnect, yeah, I will recycle the flight director, so we will do this sort of raw data after turning final. So speed's a little bit high. We should be doing 250 below 10,000. The decel point slightly misjudged the point at which to decelerate there. James Wilkins, how strict is the rule of being below 250 below 10,000? Yeah, you need to apply with it, especially in class, well, in descent, in class D airspace especially, well, any airspace in descent really, it's mandatory. You know, if you're doing 255, you could do it. Now, some airports, they might actually request that, and they might actually ask you to go fly for sequencing, but generally as an operator, we want to do 250 below 10,000 just for energy reasons. You know, it's quite hard to slow this aircraft down sometimes. So if they do request that, we'd actually... you know, ask, you know, how long for, we'd actually refuse that unless they specifically say, yeah, maintain high speed, please. We'll apply that there. But yeah, you should comply with that restriction there. Simon Sandstorm, can you sync Discord? Yes, I will do post stream for any new members who are potentially waiting at the doorstep. Very good. So if we look over the nose, where is good? There it is. Is that it? Why is there no airport there? I hope that's it. No, I don't think that's it. Isn't that Buckeye? No, we're out over Buckeye. Is that Buckeye there? Just flown over an airport, haven't we? We're about to fly over an airport. Yeah, is that Buckeye? I've flown into this airfield a few times. No, Goodyear's a little bit further ahead. There it is. There's Goodyear. So we report runway in sight now, or airfield in sight. Well, unless you've got super zoom vision, and we probably imagine, yeah, okay, broadside 0 on cleared visual approach, or a report on final. You know, so now we can descend really as we please on the altitude. We're fully responsible now for terrain clearance ourselves. Visual approach, you can pretty much position the aircraft as you wish. And go from there. Philip Messenger coming in with €5.50. Another donation for you. That's crazy. Thank you again. Hi, Captain. Great again. Do American pilots face more tough weather conditions than European ones? Oh, Philip. I mean, it depends in America where you are. I know in America you get some really proper winter operations there in North America. I wouldn't know. When I flew in Arizona, because here the weather is very settled, very nice for most of the year, so it's great for our building. But no, yeah, just as well in Europe as in America, they get challenging weather conditions. But I couldn't tell you because I've never really operated in every part of America, only flown around this part. Right, so we cleared visual approach. We'll step down now to 2,500. Let's call it 2,600. It's something for the MCB to descend to. Just maximising the use of the automation. We're already slowing down to the up speed now. And you can see we're taking a very wide base turn here. Isn't there an yeah, isn't that Luke Airfield base? I wouldn't want to be doing this in real life, I don't think. You guys might get shot down. Alright, but speed's coming back nicely. And credit to ZIBO. Really. It's nailed this descent. Looking for 180 knots or below at the next waypoint, which we're going to get to very shortly. So we're just below 230 knots now, so we can select flap 1. And with a visual approach, you need to be visual with the runway at all times. Now, obviously, within the confines of a desktop simulator, that can be reasonably challenging. So, you know, your first officer will be there. You're completely visual. You can see all the terrain around you. Look at that. That's lined us quite nicely to get into. Is that Luke there? I'm not 100% sure, but I can see probably why we wouldn't accept an approach like this in reality, because we'd be annoying someone, unless we get express permission. It's not an issue. In America, that wasn't too unusual. I went right over Sky Harbour at 1,500 feet once. Right, that's looking good. We can select flap 5. We're just on base leg 1450, 4,500. Looking good. It's Luke. Did I say something else? Sorry, Luke Airfield Base. Do you reckon we can make it in, guys, if I cut the engines? But there is Goodyear. Now this waypoint is a little bit wider. We could have been a little bit tighter in here. But, it's working out okay. Right, here's our turn on base leg. We'll configure gear down flap 15 on base. Now why is VNAV jumped down by 400 feet? We'll just keep an eye on that. I'm going to go flap 10 speed brake here because I don't want to go pretty fast for this stage of the approach. We're recapturing that path anyway. That's looking okay. Stay to speed brake. Speed's back under control. Snap flying. ZIBO mod is so nice. Just a few features missing. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. 2 tons of love's donated £1. Broadsword 02. Goodyear Tower. Winds variable at 4 knots. Sky Harbour departures on hold. F-16 escort runway 21 clear to land. What a lovely clearance that was. Thank you very much there. Positive rate coming in for £1 as well. Thank you very much there for the donation too. Right. Fingers crossed we're in the right position. Has someone bought some merchandise? Liam T has bought a mug. Fantastic, Liam. Thank you very much for buying my mug. I expect to be retweeted or Instagram tagged, and I'll retweet that if you so wish to do it as well. Another donation. Oh, that's positive rate coming in with £1 there. Right, right. I'm getting super busy here and task saturated from your generosity. We can set 1,500 feet now. Monitor the profile. It's given us a slight level segment here. We're looking good. 7, 8, 16, 24, 3,000. Sorry about doing some quick maths there. And we're turning final here. So let's get the gear down. Flap 15. Match speed. Landing checklist of flaps. Start switches are continuous. It's so much more difficult here. Speed brake, arm green light, landing gear down 3, order brake 2, holding it for landing, flap. You can't see the pappies yet or anything because you're in a flipping desktop simulator. Oh, I hope that's worked out. Fingers crossed, ZIBO. I think that's looking pretty good. Flaps, we've got 30, and the lights are on. Checks complete. And we'll imagine the missed approach altitude is climbed straight ahead 4,000. I'm not really looking. Look at that, ZIBO. Oh, 3 reds, 1 white. I'll give him that. That was amazing. His VNav path profile is just gold. Right, disconnecting autopilot order throttle. I'm going to turn the flight directors off because they're going to be giving us guidance based on a bit of a shallow turn onto final. And we are going to go raw data. Right, so it's quite hard to see there. I think we're just about 3 reds maybe, so just level off about 500 feet per minute quite nicely. So if you set the attitude around 2 to 3 degrees, that'll give you around 500 feet per minute on final. Just adding thrust there, and we're just going to wait until we're onto 2 reds, 2 whites. Reset the attitude for flat 30. That's around 1 degree or so. There we go. So back onto the 3 degree path. So slowly lower that nose. Thrust reference this way around 57-60% N1. This is where the mod and X-Plane 11 just comes alive. The picture is as per the real aircraft based on your weight. Really, really nice. Right, 2 reds, 2 whites.
Minimums.
Continue. Oh, this is something I've seen a lot in my life. This is the first time I've been back here in 10 years, albeit virtually. It's just like doing this approach in a big Seneca again or a Warrior. Oh, it's really, really, I don't know, crazy. Right, looking good, speed's good, 2 reds, 2 whites. No wind at all, no excuses. Oh dear, here we go, boys and girls.
50, 40, 30,
Check,
20,
close,
10.
oh, the attitude. We've got to butter this one, we've got to butter this one, we've got to butter this one. 59! Oh, you beauty! Speed brakes up, reverses. Very good flare. 72%. I think that's the exit I made in the Warrior. 100 knots. 80 knots. Manual braking. 60 knots, idle reverse. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Goodyear. Phoenix Goodyear. Oh, it's just like I've landed here like I did all those years ago. Oh, super duper. Let's take the first left here. Flaps up. Retract the speed brake. Oh, that was just mega. I really enjoyed that, guys, because this is where I did my CPL, and I know it's virtual, and a lot of my mates would go, "You sad twat," but you, it's just mega. I love flight sim, and the fact you could do this. Ah, super duper. Right, all cleaned up. It's taxi here. Back onto stand. VPZ Mark. The speed brakes were extended on the approach, were they? I hope not. I did arm them at some point. I hope I didn't extend them. We'll have a look on the replay anyway. Oops, if I did. The thing is, I'd know in reality because this thing would be in my hand, not in the armed position. And the desktop simulator could be a little bit trickier to spot those things. Why is there a hot air balloon there? Reference it. Is that Air Force and Proud guy, isn't it? I actually watched his videos before. They are pretty funny. He had something about hot air balloons in his videos. Bit trip coming with €5. Very kind, thank you. Awesome landing, Captain, he says. Yeah, that was one of the smoothest to date. What was it? Minus 50? Or minus 60, whatever it was. Yeah, that was beyond butter. That was like melted butter. I love all this new phraseology I use. I can't wait to go back flying again and tell the FO she buttered that one. Right, cleanup's all done, I think. We'll taxi on to stand. I only fired up on the threshold of this airport to see if the scenery installed correctly. It was first time landing here, first time taxiing in. So, it's really pretty good for freeware again. There's a really great community out here. You know, that are creating a really, really... thank you very much there, Dougal there. Oh no, Dougal said whipped cream. Who said strobes? Yeah, Marcus, thank you very much there. I saw your whipped cream comment though, Dougal. Yeah, it's a great community out here. Just makes some fantastic series for free. It's really, really good. I've no idea where we're parking. I'm going to park exactly where we kept the Cessnas, which are around here. I really enjoyed that. Alright, so we've got some CRJ business jets, we've got some caravans. Oh, slight issue with wingtip clearance here. I think we'll park to the right of this biz jet here. Let's park it right here. There we go. No marshals, unfortunately. Let's get it all lined up. Ooh. Now, why is it? Oh, there we are. It must be a bit uphill. That should do us quite nicely. APU's coming up on the bus. Just get a little bit more aligned. Oh, come on. Just getting the aircraft moving with its inertia. There we are. Let's see how that parking was. Yeah, we'll take that. We're blocking the taxiway slightly, but there's not many other places I could park. I wouldn't get past that aircraft. Brilliant. Right, 2 blues, 1 red. Engines are dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Phoenix Goodyear. I have no idea what the local time is. Minus 7 hours from this. 11 to 3:30 in the afternoon, I think. 4:30, not sure. Right, that was really, really good. Transit shutdowns then. Fastest seatbelt sign is off. Anti-collision light can come off now. And we've made it in one piece for what was actually, I think, one of my most enjoyable streams, apart from the fact that we couldn't get on VATSIM due to that a born child or wherever he is. I hope he has an awful life. That's all I can say on this. But yeah, we did it, and it was a really good fun flight to do in the US for the first time. To go from somewhere which is where I did my flight training. San Diego I visited as well whilst I was here. It was really, really good fun. I hope you enjoyed the US stream as well. Fantastic. Right, so transit shutdown checklist is all done, and it goes without saying that we don't finish a flight deck to sim live stream without a replay. I've just lost my Streamlabs thing here. Blind Eye 1995 coming with another donation. Thank you very much. €7.37, where I can toggle the vertical window on the nav display where you can see terrain and path of the aircraft sideways. I don't know the name of it. So where I can toggle the vertical window on the nav display where you see the terrain and path of the aircraft. What are you referring to? Right, Blind Eye 1995, message me on Facebook and use your username and show me exactly what you mean, because I can't quite interpret what you mean there. It's because I'm pretty tired after the stream, I think, to be fair, and the information's not really going in there, but we're going to toggle the vertical window on the nav display. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, my friend, but drop me a message on Facebook and let me have a look at that later. But I must shoot now anyway. But yes, let's have a look at the replays. Thank you for the donation. Don't forget to comment me. Are you referring to the VSD FPV Center? This button here? Well, that just lets you select it. Oh, I need to check the VSD out because that's been updated recently. Yeah. I think if you're referring to this, you know, you have different modes. The center map, I'm not sure if you're referring to this, or the vertical situation display. That's all been updated by Dr. Gluck. I should have tested that today, but yeah, drop me a message and I'll answer that a little bit more accurately for you. Right, anyway, look at that. 3 hours, 3 minutes the stream's been going for. Let's just have a look at that buttery landing one more time. There we are. Right, so over the threshold, at 50 feet, it was looking very nice. Oh, that is got to be one of the best landings to date. I didn't have any excuses, no crosswind whatsoever. I'm going to have to do it. Is there a tower view available? There is. Blind Eye 95, that was it, thanks. Well, drop me a message and I'll give you a lot more detailed answer for that donation. Thank you very much. Oh, that was just absolute butter. It looks like the speed brakes weren't out, so I don't know who said they were extended. It looks like they were definitely... no, they were retracted. That was retracted. I do sometimes make mistakes during streams, but that one I remembered. Oh, that was an absolute beauty, wasn't it? Really, really good fun. Guys, thank you so much for turning up today's live stream. I really, really enjoyed that one today. Crazy about donations as well. Don't feel like if you're one of my regular watchers you have to donate all the time. I do try and answer any queries in the cruise. But to those of you that did donate, thank you so much for your support. And everyone that signed up as a member as well. I'll get back to you later on in Discord just before I go to bed. And again, for my members, always feel free to answer any questions if you have them. That's what my Discord's there for a little bit more of an insight and the ability to talk to me a little bit more frequently. So guys, thank you very much. Regarding the next live stream, I hope to do something perhaps on Sunday. I don't know yet. And there will be something before I go on to holiday, which will be next end of next week. So hopefully a couple more streams in the next week or so, and then I'll think about making the next tutorial. I might try something else than the ZIBO mod, but I'll let you know on the usual social media forums. Guys, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button as well, the like button. That helps me get as much content as many people as possible. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you're just watching and going, "Ooh, I quite like this guy." You can keep up to date with the latest content if you subscribe. And you'll find me on all the usual social media feeds, of course. Guys, have a great morning, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you on the next live stream very soon. Good night from me.